properties. Oh, now it works. So I open properties and it's like, oh, okay. Now it works. So I open properties and it's like, oh, now I hear myself. Wow, look at that. It's not a secret for VOD people if all these other folks have already showed up. Well, whatever. The VOD people can read my lips and try to figure out what I said. The long and short of it is people that catch the VOD are probably also people that catch the YouTube videos. We put out a new YouTube video that's kind of a course correction for where the channel is going, with more highly edited and produced one-off videos maybe every week or two rather than constant clips and things like that. But in any case, every time that you're subbing when a video comes out or liking or whatever, it really helps tell me that we're on the right track with that. So if you want to engage and do all that shit that the YouTubers ask you to do on those videos, I would appreciate it. It's very quickly, becoming that I care a lot more about the YouTube than I do the Twitch, quite honestly. I was watching Dr. Heemdout earlier this morning, and a lot of his frustrations with Twitch and discoverability echo that you've probably heard from other creators, myself included. And it's just Twitch is rough. Once you got Twitch going, it's all right. It gives you some moolah and whatever, but discoverability and all that, if you're trying really hard to make content to distinguish yourself that's really good, like Hamed doing. I keep saying Hamed because I from the very beginning I thought Dr. Heemdout was meant to be like Dr. Hamed, but it's not. Anywho, seeing Dr. Heem put a lot of work into funny game shows and edits and stuff like that, it's just sad because I know it's not gonna immediately reward him and he's gonna be turned off because of it. But yeah, that's how the website is, unfortunately. Anywho, I got a bunch of stuff I still need to do in the background. You probably notice up here that we have this replacement laptop thing. The reason why I'm a bit late is because I think that the USB hub inside of my computer is going out. And that's just one of many reasons to start working to replace that. I'm having a rough go at it. It doesn't want to run the microphone and the webcam at the same time. Apparently that takes too much power for it. And every time I wiggle that, it comes unplugged, like that one stream that we saw. So yeah, the laptop just has too many problems. I can't stream games on it. It can barely stream and tie its shoes at the same time. So it's time for a new laptop. It's an old laptop. I remember when this came out, solid state drives and laptops were all the what would you call it? I'm really tired today, in case you couldn't tell, by the way, because I don't normally wake up at this time. Anywho, yeah, when this laptop came out, SSDs were just becoming a thing in laptops that were not Apple products, and I remember that. So I know that this thing is old. It's got an i5 in it. We're saving up for a new laptop, so any and all donos are just being diverted in laptop fund. That way I could play games with Steven or play Nier Automata and other stuff that I would like to do, and all of that's possible once we have a laptop. So marketing guy says that I should probably have some sort of dono goal for that rather than putting it all away in the back end, which is what I was planning on doing. So I'm just trying to be transparent with where the money is going. If we could meet that goal, that would be rad. I have it set until the end of August. If by the end of or by the beginning of August, if we don't hit it by the beginning of August, that's fine. I'll try to fund it out of pocket or something. Maybe I'll try to find funds from somewhere, but we definitely need a laptop. We're not going to be living in California, so I'm not going to have the pleasure of using my PC.
How's it going?
You look nice today, Book.
Thanks, brother. I'm so tired today. You want to know how I'm tired? When I'm tired, it's almost like 6-year-old me tries to get adult me to go through the motions, because he just starts singing all these cartoon songs and shit. I was literally singing Hey Arnold to myself as I was trying not to postpone stream. I'm like, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to laugh and play and get along with each other. I was just fucking Oh man, I'm singing the American Dad opening and I'm living in Mexico. Like, fuck, dude. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Wow, look. Hey, you can start to see the little line. Line go up. Brr. $5 closer to our goal. Wow. Good singing. Thanks, brother. I don't know. I'm tired. That's Arthur. Yeah, it is Arthur. I used to watch Arthur when I was little. Cuz that was on the free TV. See, my parents were trying to live above their means when I was little. And so there would be times where like the cable would get turned off or something. So we had like the expensive cable and then we had free TV. And my mom, who was a bit of a shitter, would like make fun of kids that would watch nothing but free TV. So she would always try to get expensive TV. But I didn't really mind some of the free TV stuff. And Arthur was one of them. I also watched like a ton of like Caillou and the thing with the octopus guy and the girl with the safari hat. I don't know. I watched a lot of shit when I was little. I don't even know if that's from the public TV or not, but PBS is gated as hell. I mean, some of it's gated. Let's not get ahead of ourselves there. I mean, some of it's okay, but it's definitely not, it's not always something to write home about. That's what I'll say. Okay, I need to find something for you guys to listen to. One moment. Let's see if my computer will remember. Okay, sets for Booksmarts. That seems about right. Okay. I'm going to play this while I get some food inside of me, way deep inside of me, and I grab a little bit of OJ and some water because, like I said, not feeling too hot this morning. But that's okay because we don't need to have a lot of energy to take criticism, right? I mean, I take criticism so well, right? Hopefully I don't blow up today. Let's just hope for that. That's where the low end, that's where the bar is set right now. This track is called Satellite by Pictochat. I need to reach out to this motherfucker and ask if we can get more tunes like this, because if he's got anything cooking in that musical kitchen and it's vibing the way that these tunes do, I definitely want more of that. Anywho, here is Satellite by Pictochat. If you're in the YouTube or the Twitch, you can do !Picto to get more information about him. Enjoy. I don't think we need some giant ass fucking put it off to the last fucking second looking ass fucking intro today. I think we could just jump into it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to post on my Twitter real quick. Hey, you dumb fucks. Guess who's live? Ho. And then we're going to get into it. Sorry for the misogyny this morning. I'm not feeling too well. Part of my misogyny. I'm having a rough morning. Let me go ahead and grab a link for that. 1 second. Boop, 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 boop. How is everybody doing today? Who else is having a tired morning? One's in the chat if you're having like a pretty solid energy day, and two's in the chat if you're kind of lagging. If you're, not feeling it. You know what I mean? Go ahead and let me know in the chat while I get this out. Punish Smarts. This is the Punish Smarts stream. Maybe I should change the title to be Punish Smarts because that's actually what we're doing today. It's Punish Smarts. It's time for my rhetorical flattening. I'm actually gonna rename the whole stream to just Punish Smarts. Because that's what's going on today. I've collected comments and feedback from multiple different platforms and communities, and we will be going through those and kind of seeing where I went wrong. I'm seeing a lot of twos in this chat. What the fuck? What is going on, dude? A lot of you are from Europe, and I hear that that's a socialist utopia, so I don't know how you're unhappy in Europe, okay? We better not have any twos that are in Europe, because the lefties tell me that that's utopia. That's heaven on earth, okay? So you can't be unhappy in Europe unless you're in the UK, which of course to those that are not politically savvy is no longer Europe. Anywho, sorry if I'm not funny at all either. You're gonna have like a lot of dad jokes and shit today, and I'm gonna take this stupid fucking mic off of its stand. It's a stand-up smarts kind of day. All right. Hi, how are you? I need to move this thing over so that it has me all oriented properly. Why am I here? Just to suffer? Yeah, basically. Confused. Are you confused? In what kind of way? In like a Pride Month kind of confused? or do you just not know what's going on? Either way, I accept you. Big Sag from UK. Yeah, Big Sag. Sorry to hear about Europe. That's an unfortunate breakup. But, they're living their best life. Don't look at their Instagram. You're going to be disappointed. They're having a real fucking good time without you, buddy. Big Smarts. Why is the YouTube audience bigger than Twitch again? What's happening? That's how it is. I was talking about this just before we started, and I'll go ahead and do this as the intro.
Get that laptop so I can get less lag smarts and more book smarts right into my feed.
$25? Jesus Christ, we're already 30 on the way to that 2,000 for the laptop. For those of you who just joining now, that's what we're saving up for, because this laptop's kind of dog trash. So much so that I'm actually headed to America today after the stream is over. On Saturday, I have a dinner plan with some other streamers, so that's going to be fun. Not sure if that's secret or not, so if anybody else talked about it, you'll know who it's with. But if they didn't, then it's a secret. That'll be fun. I need to try to not get too intoxicated. I was, when I smoke, this is something to know, guys. When I smoke, everybody tells me I get more mean. Okay, so I definitely don't want to smoke because I'll be mean. And depending on what I drink, my clothes start coming off and I turn into horn smart. So like these are two things that like I'm starting to keep track of more the older that I get. Like, maybe I should be careful with who I'm engaging with and what I'm doing when I engage with them, because yeah, depending on who you're with, I think you need to pay more attention to that stuff. Like with my streamer friends and the people who I hang out with in the private discords, they're probably fine with me bullying them. Let's be real, okay? They're okay with it. But when I meet new people, they're probably not down for that. Wow, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. I look like a little Catholic schoolboy or something with this hair. I feel like it's too clean. Bring him some beer. No, beer doesn't do it. It's a lot of see, like, vodka is clean. Like, I can get by on vodka. It's when I start getting messy. You know what I mean? Like, I got drunk off of some beers, some craft beers, the last time I went out in Tijuana. And by the time I got to, like, doing tequila, I was already fucked. I only did, like, one shot because I was just done skis. Tequila is the answer. I don't think tequila is the answer. Tequila is the answer to having a good time, but I'm not sure if everybody's signing up for the same good time I would with tequila. If we get you drunk, will you buy an ear mic and some leggings? If I had a really good laptop that could run an ear mic, I could probably do it. My laptop can barely run this mic, though. I know what you're referring to. Let me talk about that briefly. Indiefox, I love you, girl, but what the fuck are you doing? They made a whole category for you and your little love buddy to just go fuck off to. I understand it wasn't a not safe for work category, but like now you guys are just done with that. You're not going to be playing the hot tub meta anymore. Now you're going to go back to doing some other shady shit. Kind of cringe, my guy. Kind of cringe. Twitch doesn't help me with shit, so I have no sympathy for them as a company or an ad-serving platform. I could give a fuck less if the other streamers that have tens of thousands of viewers can't get money off of ads or are worried about that, okay? I don't fucking care. To be quite honest with you, I take a more lefterly approach to that, and I say fuck the rich. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the rich. Fuck the popular. I don't give a fuck about their problems. But I will say, you know you're fucking it over for the rest of everybody else, and I think you should be cognizant of that at this point. I don't know how they're staying in the good graces of the public opinion at this point, because I was going to say that they're straddling a line, but it's more like they're dry humping a line at this point. They are like grinding on a line in a G-string. Like they're going above and beyond the Call of Duty with testing this shit, and Twitch is yet to hit them, so I guess it's not going to happen. They know the right people. They are licking the line. Yeah, in 1080p, in 4K. Attractive privileges. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't think any like a level of attractiveness should get them out of the not safe for work stuff, but whatever. I saw, am I allowed to talk about this? Whatever. Twitch hosts it. I saw the outline of a woman's vulva. Can you believe that? I saw the outline of her vulva. And that's not allowed. I shouldn't have any indication of how fat. That's banned. We're not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to see your genitalia through your clothes. And I could. The last time I looked at this shit, I could. I'm blown away that shit's allowed on here. Say it again, but slower. No, bruh. You can go to my OnlyFans for that. But yeah, like, need a link, Bookie? You can go onto Reddit. I'm pretty sure there's screenshots of that for at least Amouranth going on Reddit. To be fair, I didn't see Indie, nor did I see Amouranth live, but I saw somebody else doing it. And that's the other thing. All the horn dog streamers that kind of copy whatever meta Amouranth and Indiefox are setting up in their Republican versus Democrat kind of fake ass fights that they're doing, those people go above and beyond. And I think it's going to be those people that cause the line to be cut. I don't think like Amouranth or Indie is going to be banned and then they're going to change it. Then they're going to start enforcing it. I really think it's going to be some small streamer who has something else go wrong. And I say small, but you can only be so small doing shit like that. And then everybody's going to get in trouble. But they're going to wait until they have their Jesus, you know. They're going to throw him up on the cross on behalf of all the Christians. So I'm just waiting to see who the Jesus is going to be. What is the point of this stream? Not a troll. The point of this stream is to take some criticism from the community. I have a bunch of stuff saved on my computer from the Vaush talk, and we're going to go through that and see what I fucked up. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit at first. Oh yeah, I'll be in America. We'll be playing some Apex Legends on my main computer to try and save up for the laptop, which is over here. $2,000. I know that's a lot of fucking money, dude, but these laptops costed a lot more than they did when I first started buying laptops. The laptop that I bought, I'm pretty sure was like sub $500. So, and that was a long ass time ago. It was a hell of a deal. I think it was discounted from like 7 or 8. Okay, let me find what I'm looking for here. Put it up on the screen here. Okay, let's see. Criticism corner. Here we are. Punish Smarts. Do you already know which type of laptop you're gonna get? Marketing guy is gonna pick one out. You know what? We need a name for marketing guy, because marketing guy feels like inadequate. Can I call him Business Smarts? When I say Business Smarts, can I be referring to like the collective of opinions and people in the background who are guiding the hand of this content towards something that's monetarily fulfilling? Call him Mark. Market Man. Market Smarts. Call him Mark. But if I say Mark, you guys are going to be like, oh, is his name Mark? I feel like people are going to get confused. The forbidden one. I think I'm going to call him Mark. Yeah, I think it's kind of like Andy. Mark is growing. The Puppet Master. No, that one's getting a bit strange. Marky Mark and the Business Bunch. Bookmark. Yeah, let's go with Mark. So Mark is telling me that, hey, Booksmarts, if you're going to be fucking saving up for this laptop, you big dumb fuck, you need to be doing it in public. Just make a donation goal and ask people to help with it. So not my idea. It's his idea. Bringing it back to the Dr. Heemdout thing. I got spaghetti, by the way. Do not pull a Tyler 1, Booksmarts. Do not pull a Tyler 1. Check your OBS. Move your shit down. Do not move the plate up to the food. Move the cam to the food. I don't know what I'm saying. There you go. It's dead ass cold. I didn't even warm it up. They don't have a microwave in this place, so I just kind of make do. That looks nice. It was when it came yesterday, but now it's just kind of cold. Yeah, he's right. Hold on, let me get a bite of this because I haven't eaten all day. I got to admit, that is pretty good. Nope, see? Man, this is why we need a new laptop. Hey buddy. You want to make my webcam work again? Hey. I need cream. Hey, Peter. Fuck. Gross Smart. Shut your fucking mouth. Rare cheddar. Man, better throw some cheddar my way. Fucking calling me shit like that, bro. That's not nice at all. Let me figure out what's going on with this webcam real quick. Arigato datte bayo.
Oi.
Boy? How much was that? I'm about to figure out. Let's go with the HD webcam. That works. All right, we're back. I'm sorry. Like I said, this is why we need a new laptop. I appreciate the sub. That face always gets me. That's why I do it. Booksmarts is greater than Vaush and Destiny. Maybe, dude. At this point, maybe I'll agree to that. I like Booksmarts. I liked Destiny. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. How charitable you've been. Oh, and there goes the chat. Hold on. Let me go ahead and read your chat here. I feel like you have not extended the same to Vaush, who's probably deserving of a greater level. That's probably correct. Hey, look. All right. If that's your punish smarts take, I'll take it on the chin, bro. I'll take it in my face. I'll take it in my mouth. You put it where you want to put it. I'm a dirty old man, dude. I'm a dirty old man. I'm tired. I don't got a filter on this morning, so part of my awful jokes. Let me grab the pictures real quick. Because I didn't have all this ready. Okay. Let's go ahead and go down to here. Let's go to there. All right, open that up. Yeah, we should be able to slideshow this. All right. Wow.
Which laptop did Mark recommend?
I have no idea. Mark says that I should get an Alienware, but I don't know. I'm sure that Mark will give me options, so if Alienware is not the buy anymore, go ahead and let me know. $50, that's a lot. We're almost at 100, you know, and if we hit 100, I think that's what, 20% or something? 100 would be a 20th, so I think that's, no, it's not 20%, you dumb fuck. That's 5. 5%. We're almost at 5%, dude. 10? Oh, my math is terrible? How about we all look to the person that said 10 in the chat and laugh at them? They're dumb fuck too. Maybe I should divert the blame, dude. I'm going to do what Vaush and Destiny do. Everybody else does it. Hey, look at that guy that fucked up. Let's pay attention to him. Why are we all talking about me? He said 10. Is that targeted harassment? I'm sorry. All right, let's go to YouTube. Oh, that's really tiny. It's disappointingly tiny. Ooh, okay. How about that? Can you read that? Hey, chat. Can you read that? You're almost there? Yeah, I am. All right. It felt like Vaush was being so resistant by Okay. Why do I have ones about Vaush in here? That's not what I wanted. Who cares? So this first one is from a Reddit. It felt like Vaush is being so resistant by constantly going, well, everyone does that, or we all. That's kind of funny. We were just talking about that. That at a certain point, and I hope to be very wrong about this, Book just decided to brown nose him in order to sneak in some. Oh yeah. Wait, fuck. I need to go through some basic stuff here. Why don't we talk about some basic shit? Why'd you name your company after your dick? You blow jobs, you arrogant prick with your secondhand jeans and your turtleneck. I'll drill a hole in the middle of your bony head with your own little spinning beach ball of death. Hippie, you got given up at birth to give away your net worth to AIDS research. You combine all your little toys and I still crush that iPhone I fit. Whatever, I fucked it up. Who cares? ERB, nice meme. Thanks, dude. I'm going to start doing a segment where I respond to community criticism every so often and maybe demonstrate the value in those and demonstrate how I handled it. We can tell this was written at ODark30. Explain and paint the effect of the hammer strat and what it is. Wow, past me. You had a lot of faith. Let's see if I'm able to live up to that expectation. Okay, let me try to remember. So this is important because the very first thing we're looking at is talking about, like, at a meta level, what happened to the convo. So let's go through that first. I think I have an art. No, I don't have an art scene on the laptop. Whatever. So file, new, 7,000 is okay. Let's zoom in here. And I'm using my mouse, so bear with me. My ear just popped. I haven't been able to hear out of my right side of my ear for 2 days, which is also part of the reason that I'm going to Americas. I need to go to the doctor and get it fleshed out because I clearly have a dead animal or something in there, and it constantly just closes up, and then I can't hear for days on end. So that's not very fun, especially given what my job is. Okay, so Vaush has a strategy, okay? And I can't use my drawing thing because, like I said, the laptop will not run it. Unfortunately. So he has a strat where he takes a hammer, okay? And this hammer is, we'll call it like point A, okay? Why is the opacity so fucked? Here, can I undo all this? I don't like this. Give me a brush. How about that, huh? Let's go to 1. All right. I'm just going to explain this real quick for the people that have already seen the videos and stuff. So Vaush has a technique where he uses a hammer, right? And he goes ahead and swings this hammer, and that's going to be an abbreviated version of his point. And once that hammer breaks the people in the conversation, it goes crack, bam, wow, whoa, wowie, woo-wah, you broke me. Once it breaks the minds of all the people and it kind of gets their attention, then he's going to take these pieces and he's going to take the components of the hammer and he's going to explain, oh yeah, so this plus this plus this. That's what I'm talking about, actually. I'm talking about all these individual pieces and they all work together, and then he adds in some little beads of nuance here and there. And we have this whole other new picture, okay? Very different than the sum of the parts that we started with. And he says that I only have a limited amount of time, right? I only have a limited amount of time to make my point, whatever, particularly in panels. So to deal with that, I'm going to have my abbreviated point, and then I'm going to have my abbreviated point. And I say not B. I'm going to put a period and then B, okay? And this period dot B is going to be all of the other extra shit that we learned about in the process, okay? So, whoops. Why is that still that color? Who knows? So this right here, right? Bloop. This right here is new. All these circle pieces are new. The hammer is all of a sudden in 2 pieces now. It's like disarmed. We have a bunch of new pieces, and that's all what the not B is. That's all the nuance that we're adding in here, right? And this is his strategy. And what I'm saying, and my advice to him, is to keep in mind that the effect, okay, we'll do lowercase just to make it easier on you guys. The effect of all of this that it has on people, this breaking right here that happens, the effect of just seeing the hammer without all the other stuff involved, the effect of this is very different than the effect, and I'll put it in maybe like that, than the effect that happens here in the A not B, right? And so I'm saying that maybe what the audience is having a problem with is not that we're adding this not B in here, really, because that's what everybody does when they talk about their points. They start out with something abbreviated and it gets added nuance-wise over time. But the main thing that I think is the problem, that is a stepping stone to him like realizing that this strategy has problems, which is like the broader kind of, you know, a peek behind the curtain here, is I want Vaush to realize that the effect of this strategy is so great that once we identify the difference in effect between using A versus A not B, we'll kind of realize the problem with this strategy. So step number 1, the first step I need him to take is to realize and identify and like kind of give credence to the idea that there is a difference in effect between these two things, that A not B, with all of its added in nuance, is a very different take with a very different effect on people than the A. And if I can get him to just take that one itty-bitty step there, then we can start to talk then about what the problem with this strategy is and move into that, right? And I don't want to talk nuts and bolts and logic because then we'll get into a big debate. So I want to talk about this rhetorical or optical effect on the people that he's talking to, right? People come away with a very different opinion of him given the way that the fascist conversation started or given the way that the kink conversation started. And I think that it's worth noting that before we know anything else, okay? Now, we barely got through this because the beginning, middle of that conversation was uber rough. And once I realized that we're not making a bunch of ground on stuff like this, I kind of just backed off of it. But there were numerous points later in the conversation where we hit and he's like, oh, well, you know, sometimes that accidentally happens or whatever. And it's like, well, you're intentionally leaving out information and stuff. This strategy necessitates that you leave out information and nuance. So no, unlike other people who accidentally employ a strategy like this, where they say some dumb bullshit and then they need to add some shit that makes sense to counteract their dumb bullshit, you're doing dumb bullshit as like a matter of, strategy. And when you're doing dumb bullshit as a matter of strategy and then trying to fix it, and this is a pattern that people see, it's different than it just happening by chance for some people. Because some people just need to develop their ideas over the course of the conversation, but we're not just developing our ideas, we're intentionally giving an idea that's like undercooked, and you know that, and you're trying to like maximize the effect that has. But the problem is he's not looking at the difference in effect between these two things and realizing that people want to reconcile those in their brain when they're talking to him. And I say that, but I'm also convinced that there's no small part of the audience that really has a problem with these highlighted B things being added in here, right? So that's the basics of this hammer thing. And I'm sorry I haven't read chat that whole time. I just don't want to get derailed when I'm explaining that. We'll go ahead and put that to the side for right now. Ico rules rating with a party of 50. Hello. Let me go ahead and go through an abbreviated explanation of this for the Ico people. Basically, today we're doing a thing called Criticism Corner, where I am taking criticism from the community and demonstrating how you should do that in, I don't know, maybe a little bit better than the way that other people seem to take it. And to start that, I kind of need to give a brief summary of one of the main points of contention between Vaush and I, besides the misremembering thing. And it's kind of tangential to it, because actually some of the things here come up there. So Vaush has this idea where we're going to have a hammer, and he's going to, we call it the hammer technique. He's going to hit us with like an abbreviated, kind of very blunt version of whatever he believes, something like Bush is a fascist or some bullshit like that. And then throughout the course of the conversation, he's going to add this highlighted bit here, the point B, the not B. He's going to add this extra context in there. And what I tried to get him to admit at first in this conversation is a stepping stone to realizing why this is a bad strategy, is to realize that there's a difference in effect between how people perceive the A here and the A not B, right? And if we can just give some credence to people and set their minds at ease that there is a big difference between saying the first statement and saying the first statement with all of the other context you add through the conversation, then we can kind of start to see why this is a problem. The reason that Vaush does this is to deal with the panel format, where you don't have a lot of time to make your points, and he wants to say something extraordinary that gets the attention of people. This is a strategy that I have said in the past has worked really, really well for people like Lecture Fan or other conservatives that come onto a panel with some dumb fuck take that the other 8 people in the panel waste all of their time dealing with, right? So if we have a panel of 8 people and person number 1 is like, well, I think that trans people should rule the world because trans people actually have the more developed brain. And then person 2 is like, well, I don't think that they're better than anybody else. I do think that we should treat trans people better. And then person 3 is like, all I'm saying is, I can use their pronouns. I'm cool with that. Person number 4 is like, yeah, it's not real, but I'll use their fucking pronouns. Who cares? Person number 5 is like, I honestly don't care, pronoun or not. If you look like a woman, I'm going to call you a woman. And then person number 6 is like, you know what? Fuck trans people. I don't believe in any of that bullshit. You're mentally ill, you have a problem, and I'm not fucking playing any of fantasy. And they sit back and they listen as all the other people in the panel, all other 5 people, try to convince them out of that position, right? Because they took a dumb fuck position that everybody is going to have to try and deal with. And that's kind of like what this is. We're going to take some dumb fuck position that everybody's going to waste their time, attention, and energy trying to diffuse, and it's not even the position that he holds. And so, I don't like this strategy. I think it has problems, but unfortunately, because of the way the panels are run, it's successful in the format, so I can't knock it too much. And you do have limited time, and I guess this is a way to deal with that ration time, but whatever. You can clip it if you want, but I think that's an easy explanation where people can look 5 seconds earlier. So you're only benefiting the channel by clipping that if you really want to. I'm really tired today, so bear with me. So that's the hammer strategy. That's important context for knowing what the hell is going on here. Boom, I explained it. So the criticism corner thing, I'm doing a segment where I respond to community criticism, yada, yada. I've got some that I've saved here, so we're going to go ahead and look at those. Whoops. Let's go ahead and zoom in. It felt like Vaush was being so I'll check the chat. How is everybody doing? You are cathartic smarts for me when you say things that I need someone to say, but say it better. Yeah, that's my job. Yeah, this is a lot of words to say that Vaush, Motte and Bailey is like a mother. I don't use terms like that. You guys have to, for those of you that don't know, Booksmarts doesn't like saying shit like, that's a Motte and Bailey, that's a fucking pivot, he's scalloping, what the fuck, that's ad hominem. I don't say dumb bullshit like that, dude. This is not a fucking philosophical fucking Socrates-ass cartoon, okay? We're not saying stupid fucking words like that. We're not doing that. That's not my... You would think the debate review guy would love those terms, but no, I really think they're dumb. That other person said, I love when you put into words what I can't put into words. Like, yeah, let me go ahead and use more than one word then, because this whole use a fucking catchphrase and hope that everybody gets it is just a very silly way of explaining things. So I try not to use buzzwords. Anywho, let's go ahead and read this. It felt like Vaush was being so resistant by constantly going, well, everyone else does that, or we all do X, that at a certain point, and I hope to be very wrong about this, Book just decided to brown nose him in order to sneak in small critiques here and there. I know you hope to be wrong about this, but you are like kind of close to being right. So it's not that I brown nose him or I blow smoke up his ass. It's just I avoid things that I know are going to be problematic for us. So once we got into a debate at the very beginning, I realized that if he gives me like too much resistance on something, he switches gears into debate mode, and the way that he debates will frustrate the fuck out of me. Because the way that he debates is he does the thing that Steven does, where he goes, oh, well, everybody else does it. Or, oh, well, if X encompasses everything in the entire universe, then I guess I'm X. Like, because I am something and I am in the universe. Like, oh, come on, bruh. Like with the poisoning the well thing or with the walking it back thing. Oh, well, is walking back just when you explain an idea that you didn't have enough time to explain in the beginning? Because if so, I'm guilty. Like, no. And if I just say that, like, I'm letting you get away with a lot, that's not at all what I mean. And at a few points, I tried to, like, pull him out of it and snap him back to sense by being like, you know I don't believe that, right? Like, what is going on? I felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Like, I just said I don't believe that, Vaush. Like, you're not even listening to me. But I can't plead and be a bitch like that in the chat. So what I have to do is realize that, like, oh, we've hit like a trigger and this dude is not going to operate like, you know, at the same level if we've passed that trigger point. So like I have to get off of it. So I'm not brown nosing, but I am going to like then realize that I need to be much more subtle in like bringing his attention to this critique, which if we go back to this, that's why I start to try and focus on the effect here, this color. I don't know what the color is, but you guys could tell me in the chat probably. That would be helpful. What color is this? I try to focus on the effect because if I can't draw his attention to how these two things are very, very pink, okay, awesome. So the pink is what I try to draw his attention to. So maybe that's like one step on the path to like getting him to understand the rest of it. But we didn't really get past that point with him. So while I'm not like brown nosing, I can get how it feels like that. To take this good as criticism, I think that like, I don't know, maybe being less like, I don't know, goody-goody with him. It's tough because, like, I want to build rapport with Vaush, and I want this conversation to be something where, like, we're getting to understand each other better. He doesn't feel like I'm being an asshole. I'm not overreaching on things that I know he's not going to, like, accept, you know. There's a tough balance to this, guys, and, like, howdy, Simp here. Hi, dude. Is Book colorblind? Yeah, I am. So yeah, I don't know if brown nosing is the way to describe it. I don't think I brown nose, but I'm definitely keeping this in mind moving forward. I guess it worked because the discussion lasted for a while, but it felt largely unproductive on Vaush's end. Not to mention chat being hostile to the book for seemingly no reason. Yeah, they were kind of mean to me. They're mean to me every time I go on there, though. I enjoy that there's some subsect of the audience that's like, come on, guys, he's not being bad of faith. He's like literally here to help people with the rhetoric and stuff. But, you know, I think that vocal minority, if it just gets bigger and bigger, will cancel out those folks. And something that I learned while kind of looking through all of these comments is that it's a few people, like maybe a handful, that write most of the mean shit. There was this one lady, and I $100 super chat book. You got to look at that, lol. Oh, fuck. Did I miss it? My bad. Let me bring that up. Fuck. I'm so sorry. I did. I'm so bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a bad streamer. $100. That's a lot of money, dude. I hope you're not memeing me and I'm just spending a bunch of time looking at this for nothing because it's taken 10.5 years to load. Again, the whole purpose of today's stream, at least in part, the whole purpose in part, is to save up for a laptop. $100 laptop recommendation. Oh, shit. Asus Zephyrus G15 DGG4L. All right, dude. All right, dude. Thank you so much, Zero. Wow, fuck, $100. That's crazy. Well, that gets us like a good bit closer. I was saying earlier how we were getting 20% of the way there. That's getting us quite a bit closer. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. He finally noticed. I did finally notice. I appreciate it, guys. It's tough to balance all this with only 2 monitors and stuff. So, you know, and I can only do 2 because, again, like we keep repeating, the laptop is just not in the greatest shape. But thank you. I really appreciate it. Oh, if only I could discover oil. Yeah, well, you and I was going to make a joke about the Middle East. I'll avoid it. Oh, wow. There's that. All right, next. What's after this? Oop. How do I go next? Do I have to reset the whole Zoom? Oh, I love it. I thought I could just fucking do that. Apparently not. Okay, we'll go here. Hey, can you open this, please? Can you open this? Hello? Hello? Anybody there? Hello? Oh, now you don't want to open at all. Okay. This laptop, dude. Look at how long it takes to open a goddamn picture. There was, okay, I'll just, man, every time I zoom in, I can't fucking go to the next thing. Let's read this here. There was one point where Vaush and Booksmart were talking about Vaush poisoning the well and has to do with giving an explanation why Redacted's class was affecting its judgment. I think that there's a point in the conversation where you can say that, but it has to be at the end, not at the beginning. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a marketing move. I'm not going to like defend myself with this, but I'll give you an explanation as to why I was doing this. So to those of you that don't understand what they're talking about, they're saying, maybe opening with like your super duper strong criticism wasn't a smart way of doing that. I feel like we're skydiving, okay? And I want to try the crazy shit skydiving that's going to require like my hands to be like fucking with something or doing magic tricks in the air, whatever the fuck I'm trying to do skydiving at the highest altitude. Because if anything goes wrong or the trick takes longer than I think or whatever, I'm going to want to take care of that right at the beginning. And I'm actually happy that I did that because it let me coast for the rest of the conversation and realize like how much we were actually going to be able to talk about and how much we weren't. So firstly, putting my toes in the water and testing if we could talk about Destiny was something that I accomplished at the very beginning by talking about that stuff, right? How is he going to handle if I bring up Destiny or if we talk about Destiny adjacent topics? That's another thing. Because in our discussion prior to this, my understanding was that we weren't allowed to talk about him. And that ended up not being the case. So those two things alone were really, really useful in for getting this poisoning the well thing off the bat. But I do get that. I think it could very well make the whole conversation go negatively or affect the way that the whole thing goes. But I feel like with him, I wanted to test that at the beginning, although it is fair criticism to say maybe saving that for the end when you had built more rapport would have resulted in a better conversation. Maybe. I kind of wanted to wind down and transition into leftist questions after doing the initial stuff, because the other thing is it gives me more runway for making those points. So if I notice that we're tossing and tumbling at the very start of that skydiving experience, then I know that, okay, I didn't do what I was supposed to do here, but I still have a lot of runway. So I can put myself in a better position to do that later on in the conversation. If we end up building rapport and talking about leftist stuff, and then I see an opportunity to make a parallel between some leftist concept or something and then this thing, then I could do that. Or if we talk about like why he has a problem with another creator or something and there's a parallel there, then we can do that, right? This is something I've seen in a lot of my conversations with Steven, where it's like we'll eventually hit something where he's talking shit about somebody or tosses shit on an idea or talks about an idea that he finds to be good. And if I can draw some parallel between one of those things and what he's doing, wow! $10 towards the laptop.
If you're looking for recommendations, my Dell G3 has been giving me a lot of value for money. Otherwise, good luck with your laptop.
Thanks.
I love your thought-provoking content.
Thanks, dude. I'm happy you enjoy it. That's $10 to the laptop fun. So yeah, I've seen with the Steven conversations, the Destiny conversations, that's a problem. Here's another one that's not in here. Maybe I should go to my Twitter and show that. Hold on. Let me go to my Twitter. I'm not a big enough person to where I think you guys are going to do anything bad, but obviously I'll give the disclaimer. Please don't do anything mean to this person. But yeah, somebody on Twitter, kind of echoed some criticism that I've gotten from other people, which is that they're not happy with me calling Destiny Steven. People get really pissed about that. I don't know. I don't quite understand it. They're mad on my behalf or something. I don't really get it. Wow. Looks like they've gone on lockdown, actually. You're unable to view this tweet because this account owner limits who can view their tweets. Nice. Well, that's probably a good thing for you to do after the dumb bullshit that you pulled. So I'm happy I put quotes in here so I have some indication of what this dumb fuck was saying. It's not to gain points or be his friend. It's just more comfortable for me than calling him Destiny. Side note, my close IRL friends from the space call me Book or Booksmarts because I don't use my real name much. Even prior to streaming, I use my writing pseudonym more. So this person was saying some shit like, using his meat space name will never get you any further with him. He's not your fucking friend. He doesn't care about you, whatever. And it was this vague post. And then this person responds and says it's a joke or something. Somebody else added me in it. And then he just goes mask off and he's like, yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, I am talking about Booksmarts. I was watching this Vaush and Booksmarts conversation, and he doesn't call Destiny once in the entire thing. He only calls him Steven. And it's sad, because I know that Steven just calls him Bookfucker and never by his real name. So, kind of a two-part thing that I needed to respond to with, he was talking about gaining points and trying to be his friend and whatever. We've talked on the channel before about how, Steven being my friend is I don't really know. Doesn't really fit into my definition. We're friendly. We get along. Maybe if we play more games and stuff, I'll feel more comfortable with that. But he's more so like a coworker that I get along with, right? But I've had plenty of coworkers who I'm friendly with and I'm work friends with that I'm not friends with, right? So there's that. I mean, a lot of people jump to defend me and they're saying shit like they've met in real life and whatever. I don't really think that's the point. And the point I try to make here is it's kind of mean to him, but honestly, Destiny just feels cringe. I feel cringe calling him Destiny. I feel like Destiny is talking about a YouTube channel or a brand, and I don't really mean to talk about that. I've heard him want to be referred to as Stephen Bonelli, or Stephen Bonnell, whatever. So I kind of just prefer calling him Steven. That feels a lot more comfortable to me because I'm not talking about Destiny the persona. I'm trying to talk about Steven the man a lot of the time. And so, yeah. that like I just make a conscious effort to call him Steven because it's more comfortable for me. But then he's like, huh, interesting. So it's cringe to call him Destiny, but it's not cringe to call you bookfucker. Like, and then he tries to get into a debate with me, and I'm like, honestly, you said oh, here it is. I don't mean to be rude, but I don't want to get in a long back and forth with you on here. Your initial tweets were kind of mean. I just wanted to interject as the person you're making guesses about. Which is the honest to God truth, dude. I don't want to argue with people on Twitter. That's the dumbest fucking thing you could possibly do. I'm not arguing with people on Twitter. But yeah, so to the people that are mad about that, stay mad. I'm not fucking taking that criticism. I'm going to keep calling him Steven. I don't really care what other people think. I almost feel like he and I need to become friends, and I need to hang out with him more just so that I feel like people can't give me shit for calling him Steven, because honestly, it comes up an awful lot. It's even come up IRL. Not people like making fun of me for it, but like poking fun at it. Like what's a funny behind the scenes thing is Supreme's wife refers to Destiny as Steven. Because I call him Steven all the time. So he sometimes has this weird disconnect where she'll say Steven and she's talking about Destiny, and it's literally only because she hears me call him Steven all the time. She doesn't watch his channel or anything, and so like she's not used to hearing him as Destiny, and it's just me calling him Steven. So it's kind of funny. He even gave you the Steven card. Did he? I don't remember that. Did he give me the Steven card? When did that happen? I mean, he could easily interject at any time and tell me not to call him Steven, I thought his first name was Irish Laddie. No, that's Vaush's first name. Oh, I don't know if you know, but Anna calling him Steven was a pretty big meme. No, I had no idea. You should do the David Pakman of the David Pakman Show meme. Right before he fucked your mom. All right, dude. Anywho, that's like another side thing that is criticism I'm not going to take. You can be mean, but as a conclusion, not starting at the starting of a conversation, since that essentialist language would only make... Yeah. So here is a legitimate thing that I need to work on. The essentialist language and talking really matter-of-factly is something that I noticed I did when I look back at the conversation. So if we're talking about taking criticism, that's a really good one. We've hit our first like really good criticism. The essentialist language and the kind of matter-of-fact tone that I had through parts of that, I think is trying to be strong and firm in my resolution about the thing, especially when somebody's trying to debate me about it. But it's not good. Bad rhetoric. I need to work on that. So that's criticism that I definitely think lands and is something I need to work on. It makes you condescending and just implies that it is not change that you want, but calling people out. Fair enough. I think the last part's a little bit mean, but fair enough on the rest of it. I guess that Vaush has that strategy for pointing out his conclusion first and then explaining it, but that is just terrible for everyone involved. Agreed. You're making them participants of your shock therapy that will affect their answers and your ability to change people over since they get defensive. If I go to a panel and I say, I think you are all censored word, then whenever everyone is pissed, I start going back to the reasons why I say it. I mean, at this point, I'm just calling people over to show moral superiority. It has nothing to do with bringing people over, since everyone gets defensive, including audiences. This is the effect that I tried to draw Vaush's attention to, that the effect of that first statement is something he has to diffuse throughout the conversation separately from making his logical points, which is like you're doubling the work for yourself by taking that strategy. That would be the next step that I would bring his attention to, but we never got there. It has nothing... Okay, this is not different than calling Redacted blinded by his wealth. You don't have to be nice, but if it doesn't change views, then you're doing it for your own ego. I don't know about that, but okay. Also, Vaush... Okay, that's for Vaush. I don't care. All right, so there's that one. Let's go to the next one. Oh, boy, this is getting rough. How are you guys liking it? Wasn't it criticism of Wolf that he kept going on long speeches and only telling the conclusion by the time everyone's eyes were glazed over? Yeah, if you want to go to an entirely different extreme, dude, but that's not the... Oh, shit. I don't want to be mean to you, Runel, but you're going to make me be mean to you. So, yes, it's a criticism of Wolf that he went on super long speeches and only told us conclusions by the end, but where you like when you say something like that, it makes me think that you're taking the whole conversation, you're pretending like there's these two extremes, and you're going, not extreme A? What about extreme Z? You said extreme Z? Like, yeah, I did. But between extreme A and extreme Z, there is a lot of gray area in between. And that gray area, I think you and I would both agree, is where we want somebody to be, right? So while I appreciate you noting the outer limit of this advice, congratulations. That's not anywhere near where I want Vaush to be, right? I just, like, that conclusion could come out literally like 2 minutes into what he's saying, or he could parse it out into the 3 different parts that make it up, parse it out into a thesis sentence, right? But, like, there's a whole bunch of runway between A and Z. And while I appreciate that you recognize that there is a logical end to this at Z, it doesn't really help us. So it's not super useful, Runel. But in debate, sometimes things are clear or hazy for reasons that sometimes are in need of elucidation. Yeah, nobody's saying that's not the thing. Between the beginning and the end is literally the whole point. Yeah. Is Dan paying everyone to say redacted? No, I just said that because I wasn't sure if we wanted to say the dude's name. Oh, God. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, man, I've skipped past it. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. This is going great, technically. At a technical level, this stream is wonderful. Okay. Vaush got there eventually. It just took him a while to get over his assumptions about what Booksmarts was there to talk about and how the conversation would go. I agree. For some reason, we built a lot of rapport after the LGBT comments that we kind of got into, and after learning I was Hispanic. I don't know if that's like, I've had people in the background mention to me that was a point where the conversation started to recover a little bit more, but I feel like it's bad faith to say that Vaush started listening to me when he learned about that stuff, but that's what other people think. They had moved past some of the most useful criticism, but it sounded like Vaush was actually listening by the end. Yeah. And here's the other thing. Guys. If you tell me, Booksmarts, most of these people are going to handle that criticism privately in their own time, I kind of think it's powerful to end the conversation with him, like, kind of understanding where I'm coming from, having some rapport built, and then he can look back on that part 1 that he admitted to me at the end, like, maybe I was a bit too defensive there. I'm sorry for, like, fighting with you in the very beginning. Then he can look back and he can get something out of that. I almost feel like that's more powerful than circling back to it at the end in the live conversation. So that may work out. Maybe that's my copium baloney, but I don't know. I think that's like a worthwhile thing. Vaush seemed to leave the door open to them talking again. Yeah, he gave me a debate and everything. So maybe there can be more opportunities for them to discuss some of Vaush's rhetorical styles and such in the future. He's improved a lot, but Book usually has a lot of good criticism, and Vaush does have issues he could work on. A critic who isn't hostile is extremely helpful. Yeah, and that's the other reason why I tried to disengage from the debates. I don't want to be this, like, super hostile kind of, like, come in here and argue with him about everything and I'm right and, my shit don't stink, that's not really what I want to do. Yeah, but that shift only happened once Book stopped talking about problems with Vaush's rhetoric and when it started just being a friendly chat and interview. During the actual critique portion, it didn't seem like Vaush was that open-minded about it, but I'm sure that can change if they talk more often. Here's the thing. I think that, like, while it doesn't feel like I'm doing as much as I could possibly do with the amount of time that I have, I think just having friendly chats and interviews and then sprinkling in a few, like, criticisms and stuff is probably better than having a criticism-focused, like, coaching thing where, like, I also have friendly chat stuff sprinkled in. In the words of Richard Wolff, I think I would rather have one with smatterings of the other, right? I would rather have the friendly chat with smatterings of the rhetorical review. I actually think that's probably better. And that's probably the direction that I go, much to people's, I don't think people would be happy about that, but that's probably where I'm going moving forward. The sexuality thing in specific probably helped to humanize him since Vaush relates to that. Maybe. Did you see Riley Rochon use your Vaush interview to officially burn the bridge with him? No. If you have a timestamp link to it, I'll check it out, though. I think Vaush tried to build rapport by pulling back to the human level. I think that would probably be a more straightforward explanation. Huh? Can't say I understand your comment there, Nicole. I think it's adorable the way Booksmarts pretends that his objectivity should be assumed. Destiny is scared of Sam Cedar. What do these two statements have? Oh! I recognize your username, End Time Support Group. I recognize your username. Do you have a Twitter by chance? I wonder. I think it's so I don't pretend that. I'm actually like, I wear it on my sleeve that I like Steven a hell of a lot more than I like Vaush. Before every single review I talk about that, like before the Wolf one, I don't know who the fuck Wolf is. I'm not particularly fond of socialists. I really like Steven. I'm biased towards him. And I try to like correct for that so much that people think I'm overcorrecting, that I'm too cruel to Destiny, or I'm like, so I don't know. Let's go back to the Notion document, because this is actually a good segue into that. Let's talk about some things that are not super helpful. The Destiny bias comments. Guys, they're not helpful. Let me explain why. I try hard to combat this, but if that's always your takeaway, then you're missing the forest for the trees, I think. If you don't listen to any of it or respond to anything I say, then I can't work your criticism into any actionable strategy, right? So if you make a comment that my objectivity should be assumed and that's the vibe that I'm giving off, and I try really hard to work against that, there's not much more I can do for you. Like, I can give an explicit warning at the beginning of talks that I have that. People can understand that about me. I can make that part of like the cultural understanding of Booksmarts is that he likes Destiny. He started out this whole thing being a fan of Destiny that wanted to help him improve. Most of my efforts still are focused on the dude. Most of my content is about the dude. At the start of all of it, I say that I have a bias, and I try to correct for it actively when I'm taking notes, or I try to keep him out of the conversations that we're having. I try not to focus on him when we're talking with Vaush. Like, I go out of my way pretty fucking hard to correct for that. So if on top of noting a Destiny bias, you don't give me any specific instances, you don't talk about how I might have missed something, you don't talk about how I'm misconstruing something, you're not specific in any of your critique, it's not helpful to me, right? Saying I have a Destiny bias is not helpful to me at all. When I say that Steven has a bias against lefterly people, I usually follow that up with something like looking at something like his sock done left conversation. It makes it clear that when somebody comes in with super good faith and tries to be like forthcoming in their ideas and whatever, he really shoots them down and takes on an aggressive tone with them. That's what I'm talking about. He has a level of charitability that he doesn't have, that he demonstrates that he has in a conversation with that conservative lady that got him temp banned, right? Like, we can compare and contrast these two things, but all of that is like 20 steps more than you give me when you just say I have a bias. Like, maybe you should point out another time where I have demonstrated that I treat one person one way in the exact same situation and this other person another way. Or maybe you should be specific in that criticism, because when you tell me I have a bias, like, and I'm admitting that I have the bias and I try to correct for it in my notes and stuff, there's not much more I can do with that kind of criticism. It doesn't do anything for me. Another one is saying Booksmarts didn't use the philosophical definition of poisoning the well. It would appear that he doesn't know that. And if the rhetoric guy doesn't know the philosophical definition of this term, then I don't know if we can take what he's saying seriously at all. Any attacks on like my ethos are probably not going to be a good place for you to go, and they're not going to really be a good start to any kind of criticism that I meant to take as the creator. So that's a bit of general advice. But on the poisoning the well definition specifically, because I have seen a lot of people talk about this, I'm using common parlance, okay? When I'm saying things like walking back or debate tactics, and I think I said this explicitly in the talk, I'm trying to use the verbiage of other people. I quickly realized that pissed off Vaush, so I was trying to avoid it. When I'm talking about poisoning the well, I explained what I meant by poisoning the well. If your definition of that is different, then that's fine. But does that indicate I don't know what the philosophical definition is? No. Are we having a philosophical discourse here? No. So, and here's something about me that maybe these people didn't know is like, for philosophy stuff, I don't have philosophical conversations. I don't talk with philosophical terms. I generally avoid it because other people have different ideas in their mind as to what that meant. You can tell because a minority of people thought that I didn't know what poisoning the well meant. And the majority of people carried on through the conversation not noting that at all, right? So to the majority of people, they understood the common parlance definition that we were using. They understood the definition that I gave, that I tried working with Vaush on, right? Or they understood through the examples what it was, the phenomena that I was trying to point at, right? There are multiple levels where you could try to understand how I'm using that term or how the term is being used in the conversation. So realistically, you should pick one of those rather than sticking to your academic version of the term and demanding that everybody else use it that way, because it's not how it works. People don't use Gish Gallop properly. Are you going to waste your time in the comments section talking about how that was an improper use of Gish Gallop and then copying and pasting the Webster's dictionary definition of the thing? Maybe not. Maybe that's not the way to go. So my advice to people doing things like that, where they're saying the academic term is being used improperly, the philosophical term is being used improperly, have a bit of a common parlance check. Could it be that they're using it in common parlance? And if so, maybe this isn't a very helpful thing to say, right? Because we're having a common man conversation, not two educated people on philosophy, right? Like, I didn't come in here saying I'm educated on philosophy. That's not at all part of my brand. If anything, I would hope to God that that is the antithesis of it, because I shit on that all the time, right? Guys, I'm going to need your help. What's the name of that person that talked to Steven recently? Silly something. I keep forgetting her name. I'm going to write it down like literally on my arms so that I remember it, because I keep forgetting. But to be fair, they are going to still waste their time. Yeah, I know. That's what...
right on Booksy.
Philosophy majors, like... Don't make a joke against philosophy majors. No, there's a lot of people like that in the audience. Silly serious. Okay, silly serious, silly serious, silly serious, silly serious. Man, two things that really don't go together. Silly and serious. Oh, I think she might be... like in no small part of philosophy. Okay, let's be careful here. So philosophy major people, and Silly Serious gets this, so it's not like I'm making fun of her by saying this. Like, you need to realize that people aren't going to use your guys' terms the way it's meant to be used, or just the SS. Does she prefer to be referred to as the SS? Wait, isn't that like a Nazi thing? Hold up, we're not calling her the SS. No. I'm going to pull one out of Vaush's deck. Let me go ahead and walk that back real quick. Let's not call him SS. Let's not call him SS. That's not the best. But yeah, Silly Serious seems to be very well aware of this. The difference in using this philosophical terminology in common parlance, and she seems to be very well aware of like walking that line. So that's been a breath of fresh air compared to people like Rem. I'm okay with throwing shit at Rem because Rem threw a lot of shit at me. So my filter for being nice to Rem is just not there anymore. But yeah, like Rem. I think to borrow yet another thing out of maybe Vaush's like book of words, I would say that Rem and people like him are insufferable. That it can be very difficult to sit through people that use language that way and are that strict about it, because it's almost like they're not trying to be flexible at all with you. Like, hey, I spend 10 hours a day learning about this thing, and that's my whole job and everything, so I'm just going to act like that all the time. Like, okay, well, 98% of the population doesn't use the words that way, and they don't understand that use. So maybe you should use common parlance when you're here and use your philosophical definitions when you're at work. But they don't like that, right? And that's why a lot of philosophy people are just awful for their cause, and they're not good advocates for the things that they mean to teach people, because they're insufferable, because people can't sit through it, because of little things like this, like forcing definitions like that, right? But to be fair to them, it's required for discussion within their discipline. Everybody has to agree on the same definitions of these words and stuff. So, yeah, that's a problem. I mean, he probably isn't, but who knows? Jesus said, turn the other cheek. Well, you know, I'd say that Jesus is what I'm going for. But, you know, even Jesus whipped the people in the that were getting money from people, right? So some injustices require a bit of a lashing. I'll say that. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, let's just go through all the not super helpful ones. Saying that I'm nitpicky or saying that I'm tone policing, I can't do anything about that. Half of my job is talking about how your tone is impacting how people are perceiving you. Tone is a huge element of conversation. Tone is a huge element of communicating to people. To take tone off of like my like tool belt is unthinkable. So you have to realize that if I'm the rhetoric dude, and at least in some part, I'm coming on here to help people with communication, tone is going to be a part of that. So is nitpicking things. So is looking at like even word choice, right? So when you say that I'm nitpicking, like that's my job. I'm meant to do that. I'm meant to look for where things went wrong. And oftentimes for these people who make debate their like whole job, it's going to be little things, and I'm going to have to pick out the little things and smooth them over, right? Also, large sweeping criticisms people don't take well. If I said that, hey, the entire way that you come off is condescending and pompous to somebody, that's not really something they can do anything with, right? Sort of like what I said about Rem. There's not much you can do about that, right? You need to focus on these itty-bitty little things that kind of correct the larger picture once added up. So there's a lot of things that are going to be nitpicky or very specific, and the reason is that if you can fix all these little specific things, it changes the broader picture of what's going on, the broader way that you're interpreted. And that's for nitpicks. Like, the tone policing thing is not a nitpick. Tone is huge. Tone is a large part of that over sweeping picture. And tone is something you have a lot of control over. Tone is the dimension of the conversation that's super duper important. So to say that I'm tone policing is to say that I'm doing my job, right? And if you mean that as a criticism, there's not much else I can do. You're just saying you don't like what I do. And, you know, that's like saying, I don't like that he came on here and he critiqued Vaush. What the fuck is up with that? This guy had a problem with fucking every way that the dude talked. Like, Jesus, give him a break. What is that, your fucking job or something? Yeah, it is. That's what I'm here to do. That's the whole brand. That's what I'm supposed to do, is I'm supposed to go through and tell these people what they did wrong. So if that's your criticism, I can't do anything with it, right? You're telling me to make different kinds of content. I'm trying, dude. Like, I'm already doing that, you know? Not much to be gained there. I like the rhetoric guy, but why does he talk so much about tone? Yeah, it's like, there's not much I can do about that. I'm noticing a curious pattern of behavior in Booksmarts' speech. First the SS joke, then the tone policing, and then a joke about money lenders. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm turning into a leftist, dude. Why is he giving the guy I like a hard time? What am I doing wrong? My messages get deleted. Sag, I have no idea, bro. You're going to have to take it up with Twitch. Well, you are getting paid for it, so this is a job. Yeah, I know. So those are the main ones. Oh, what is this? Assumption of uber bad faith. Why is it a link? Come on, past me. What is this about? Why is Booksmarts trying so hard to make Vaush uncomfortable during his debate? So first of all, we're not debating. Second of all, let's just move on. Oh, shit. Booksmarts isn't doing that, though he talks in an unusual way, so I can understand how it can seem off or odd. Do I? I wish I had more info on that. His channel is unique, that much is true. He spends hours and hours studying particular people's work and has very detailed insights to share. That's true too. When he starts sharing what he has to say to a person he studied, it can almost seem like an interrogation. So that might be the... I've heard that time and time again, that felt like an interrogation. And I would be curious, I'm going to toss this question after the chat. Do you see that? And if so, where is that coming from? So that I know, like, maybe how I could correct that. But it's because I think it's the question and answer thing, which might also be why people think it sounds like therapy or something, right? I think it's the Q&A thing that's doing that, but I could be wrong. But it's very good faith substantive critique. Thanks, dude. The OP gets downvoted in like every response that they do. So near the end of the debate, he says he has a list of lefty questions. Knowing Vaush, he knew he would get one question. The question was something like, should lefties... Oh, this is what I wanted to comment on right here. Near the end of the debate, he says he has a list of lefty questions. Knowing Vaush, he knew he would get one question. The question was something like, who should lefties get their socialist values from? The answer Booksmarts was looking for was for Vaush to say himself. This is the uber bad faith. Okay, here it is. No, that's not what I wanted at all. I didn't even expect an answer to that. It's not a trick question. I wanted to know the answer to it. I'm like... You're assuming bad faith of somebody when you're like assuming that I'm like asking these questions with some like broader thing in mind with, you know, like that's not at all how it's working. It's not even a debate where this is some strategic thing. Like we're at the very end. I just want to know something that I could read. We didn't get to talk about lefty stuff, so I want to read some stuff, and then maybe we'll have a more fun conversation the next time I pop by. You know, we could talk about the book or whatever I end up reading. So putting that aside. The answer Booksmarts was looking for was for Vaush to say himself because he knew Vaush wouldn't say Marx or something like that. Vaush ended up dodging the question and rephrasing it as lefty values instead in saying Sam Cedar. Like, okay, maybe I'm crazy. Socialist values and lefty values, these seem very similar to me, but I don't understand what they mean by this comment, but okay. Booksmart spent the whole talk trying to coerce Vaush into giving answers he wants, and Vaush spent the whole debate talking himself out of answering. I mean, half of that seems correct. I don't want to be mean to Vaush. But no, these aren't like calculated questions. I literally just had questions about the leftist shit because I wanted to learn more about it. I wasn't expecting answers. This isn't some grand strategic plan where at the end of the conversation, like, it seems like all the puzzle pieces were there for this person to realize that this opinion is like off, but they didn't put any of them together. It's like they had a bunch of like circle holes on like one of those puzzles where you put the shapes in the right hole, and they keep trying to fit the square block into like every circle hole, and it's like, then they go, this is a stupid fucking puzzle. It's not even built to be solved. What is this fucking Pepega shit? Like, you were supposed to put the circle in the circle slot, not the square. That's why you're having a bad time, buddy. Because the way you think this is being played is not how it's being played. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, some people were kind of rough. That's all the not super helpful ones. Let's go ahead and continue on here. This is the longest euphemism for the R slur I've heard in a while. Jesus Christ. Only if someone is bad faith, example, has something to hide, it could be an interrogation. Well, I guess in the beginning, it could kind of be like that. I'll be honest, Booksmarts, I think the reason it feels like an interrogation is because they aren't used to their content creators needing to answer real questions and not just yelling at people. Whoa. That's certainly negative to them. Obviously, it's positive to me, so I'll go ahead and keep reading it. That entices me. You enter in a necessarily non-combative way, and that makes people defensive. So that's so weird, isn't it? You enter in a necessarily non-combative way, and that makes people defensive. So when people say that it seems like an interrogation, it's because they seem defensive, not you being offensive. Oh, this is really well worded. Who wrote this? Comrade Flumph. You're one of the few people who knows how to use things like capitalization and commas and where to put a period and quotes. You even integrated an at really well into it, like it's natural. It's sad that I have to, give praise for such basic things, but I mean, compared to the normal Twitch chatter, I mean, cheers to you, brother. That's quite the comment. It doesn't matter if it's mucho texto, if it's legible, you know what I mean? Like, that's a paragraph on my screen, but it's easy to read because this person doesn't write it like a 5-year-old on crack. Booksmart's the coercer. Booksmart spent 30 hours putting together the plan with Destiny to make Vaush look bad. Yeah, we had a private talk. We coordinated. Okay, that seems to be the best explanation there, I guess. Thank you, Booksmart. It's not a problem, brother. Not a problem. Grammar, spelling, and punctuation? What's that? That's a good question, dude. All right, let's see here. Vaush. Okay, I already read this one. Okay. I don't understand Booksmart's approach to these influencer criticisms. I like him, and he makes astute observations, but he's not really qualified to give advice and takes unnecessary digs that would make it hard for anyone to listen. So I'll have to like I don't doubt that I do this because I know off the top of my head sometimes where I do take unnecessary digs, like especially if somebody is making a parallel to criticism that I gave them that they didn't take well. But I love it. I love it. Like when Steven is making fun of somebody for something and I'm like, yeah, isn't that yeah, that's really annoying. Kind of like when someone does XYZ thing that you did. Like, yeah, doesn't help me. I'll keep that in mind for the next time that things are going south. It's not going to be helpful to keep taking unnecessary digs. I have no doubt that I made some at Vaush, so that's something that I'll take to heart. He's not really qualified to give advice. I don't think you need to be qualified to give advice to most of these debater people. Something that I mention on my stream all the time is that somebody else could do what I do and be okay, and I don't think they need an education or anything. Like, they just need to take good notes and be honest with themselves about what people are saying. If you had a transcript of the entire conversation, you look through it, even without a background in essay writing or anything else, or making arguments or watching this content, I'm pretty sure you could pull out some rhetorical issues, some tonal issues. You could figure that stuff out just looking at it. Or with Vaush, you could see mischaracterizations of the way that things had happened simply by looking at quotes, which is a big part of what we do on the channel. Like not really qualified. I don't know. I don't think anybody here on the website is like qualified to give a lot of the positions that they give. So, I mean, if everybody can debate on topics that they're uneducated about, then I'm pretty sure I could give advice and not be like a professional, advice giver or something. Plus, I don't know what that would look like. Do you want me to be like Rem and to have some great degree about philosophy or something? Like, I don't know what qualified would be, especially after doing this for over a year and giving advice to all these people. I would say that at least at this point, part of my qualification is having done this for a while and being used to doing the analyses. But if you don't want to give weight to that, that's fine, I guess. But that does seem rough. I would be interested to know what a lot of these people think qualified folks would be. I've said this before, but attacks on my ethos, on like my authority on something, generally seem to fall flat because they don't really give me anything that I can fix. Like, what do you want me to do? Go to school for rhetoric? Go major in rhetoric? Like, I don't understand what the next step is, right? If your criticism isn't actionable, like I can't do anything about it, it's not helpful criticism, right? So like, that's like if we figured out that there were only stairs to get into a building, that it wasn't handicap accessible, and then I looked to my handicap friend and I'm like, well, you're in a fucking wheelchair for starters. Yeah, I'm in a wheelchair. Congratulations, great observation. Like, what am I meant to do with that? That doesn't help us at all. You're just like, I don't know. There's no next step to such a statement, right? And so that's the difficult part about it in terms of like taking it as criticism. There's not much I can do there. In my opinion, he should spend some time accumulating exams. Yeah, I do this though. And this is the other part of this. It's funny. Like actually working in practice. Yeah. Like, we've had conversations from these people that it works. Like, I think this is the only helpful part of this, which is like maybe coming in with more positive examples is the thing I should do. But it seems like these two things would connect, but they don't. And I think that's important to point out here. This part at the end that I should spend more time accumulating examples of the advice working in practice is not the same thing as saying I should become more qualified to give the advice, right? So the two helpful parts are the unnecessary digs and this last thing, but saying I'm not qualified to give the advice is not helpful, right? So that's that one. You must read every word of Aristotle in ancient Greek to be able to speak on rhetoric. Yeah, it's rough. Oh God, they don't just want evidence of their streamer fucking up. They want you to bring a fucking resume. Yeah, and beyond that, they want a reference list of everybody who's taken my advice and it's been helpful for. Anyone is qualified to critique streamers who are talking about topics they have no qualifications in. I mean, that's my opinion too, but yeah. You did a really good job when talking to Dan a day or a few days ago on stream and de-escalating each time he would try to get you angry. I just don't get triggered by Dan is like doing an act. This is Dan like being funny and whatever. And I think like okay. Should I say this? It's kind of cringe. Please don't cringe at me. I think that Dan is cute. I think that Dan is really cute. I don't think I've ever said this on stream before or even in private before. So this is me coming out with this, but I think that Dan is cute. I think that when he talks about something he's super enthusiastic about, he is absolutely adorable. I think that when he gets mad at people and he can't keep up, it's so fucking cute. I find Dan to be adorable in like a number of situations. And part of that adorableness is when he says something like, do you want to start this? Booksmarts? Huh? Do you really want to get on my bad side? It's like, oh man, you're so cute. I love it. I don't know. Like, I find Dan to be super cute. So it's not like he's like upsetting me. The only comment he made that upset me was that clout chasing one that I've kind of gotten over since then. Not really for the Scrub King because he added some extra spice onto that, but for Dan, I've kind of gotten over it. And I really do think he's adorable. And I tried to bring that out of him when we were talking. Like, I love listening him to talk about shit he's enthusiastic about, which the Redact stuff and being a businessman definitely is. And it just so happened that worked out really well with what we were talking about previously in the conversation about like running the business and stuff like that on the back end. So yeah, I don't know. I think Dan's adorable. I like talking to him. I hope we get to talk more. So yeah, it's not like I'm doing this giant like bit of work to not be upset by him. Let me find the right thing here. Okay, so let's look at this one. Booksmarts has brainworms. Don't start your criticism off with something like that. Most creators will kind of stop listening. And if they keep listening, they're just kind of flailing themselves for no apparent reason. So not a good way to open. Not a good way to open. I'm happy he capitalized brainworms. I'm happy my brainworms are deserving of capitalization. But Booksmart says brainworms, the whole walking back statement / poisoning the well segment was insane. He just bought into Tiny's framing of Vaush, but when Vaush explained it so a 5-year-old can understand it, he had nothing to say besides Vaush is right when he started with basically describing Vaush as a disingenuous, bad faith actor. I don't think that's how it ended. And this is part of also why I had to pull off of this. Vaush's audience, hold on. Let me have a bit of spaghetti so I'm not cranky in how I say this. Let me be rhetorically effective. Let me get my juice real quick. I think that Vaush could admit this, as much as Steven has to admit this, as much as Destiny has to admit this, that there is a subsect of his audience who has brainworms, who kind of, when they hear shit, they're only listening for what they want to hear that bails their creator out of stuff or makes their creator look the best or makes the person they're looking to look like an idiot, right? Small subsect. Not the whole thing. I'm not going to say VGG is like this, his Discord's like, no, because it's not fair. There's a bunch of people in there that are chill and cool, and I'm pretty sure they make up the majority of people that listen to him and are part of the audience. So I'm going to be very like measured in this criticism, but there is a small portion of them that are like this, where they're only listening for what bails them out of stuff, and they tend to be a vocal minority of the audience. So they're an important one to keep in mind when you want to like be wary of the way the conversation is going to be interpreted and discussed. And I'm very well aware of that. When Steven tries to get out of something the way that he did when we talked after the wolf thing, I have to put his feet to the fire, and I cannot let him just weasel out of stuff. I need to point out at a meta level what he is doing and why he should not get away with it, so that the people that do not have these brainworms can see that and keep in check the other people that do. And they see when the other people do. Really? You thought the death scene was still justified after all of that? You thought that on this point he was still correct when blah, blah, blah was brought up? I want them to have that and to identify this thing in other people so that they know when to take them seriously or when to not take them seriously. And when Vaush is trying to get me to admit and get me to give a concession on the definition of poisoning the well to be anytime anybody says anything bad about anybody else, so that he can say, well, of course I fit that, but so does everybody else. So big whoop. The reason why I don't give credence to that is because there is a huge portion of his audience, like this person, who because I gave a concession on that will believe that that was the entirety of it, right? They'll come away with this conclusion that Vaush was right the whole time. I had to walk everything back and I wasn't correct about anything. Steven has mentioned this numerous times to me, and maybe I should give more credence to it now, but there is a whole bunch of the audience that depending on what you concede on, they're going to think super poorly of you and super positively of the other person, irrespective of all of the discussion around that point. And I could feel that that was one of them, right? And people gave me shit about this. People were like, Booksmarts, you probably shouldn't have said that he was right about like X and Y and Z during that bad faith portion of it, during where we were talking about poisoning the well and stuff. Like when he brings up a criticism about Steven, says Steven does this, would that not be poisoning the well? I have to concede that because I'm not going to be an asshole and be an obstacle to the conversation. Yeah. If he said that we can't trust you about women's stuff and that maybe we shouldn't take Vaush seriously when he talks about women, yeah, sure, that's poisoning the well. Now, he didn't ask, was that justified? He didn't ask, like, do I think that's fair? He didn't ask any of that stuff. He asked, would that be poisoning the well? And it was in combination with his super duper broad definition where anytime anybody says anything bad about anybody, it's poisoning the well about that person. So I can understand that there could be confusion that I accept the definition of poisoning the well there alongside the fact that he's poisoning, that Steven is poisoning the well. And that's what makes that little debate portion really hard, is because Vaush starts setting down like 3 or 4 different lines of argumentation, 3 or 4 different conclusions. And by admitting to one, it seems like I'm admitting to more. And so I quickly felt that we're getting tangled up in a lot of like this spider silk that he's kind of spinning around me. And that's why I had to pull out of it. Hold on, dude. I'm not debating you about this. Your tactics here are to win a debate, and I'm not here to debate you, right? I'm here to help you. If you don't want to take that help, if you don't think that criticism is fair, then fine. We can move on. There's other stuff that we could talk about, and I would much rather do that than kind of lose all the momentum on this one part here and get tangled up in something that's, you know, relatively unimportant in comparison to having a good talk, right? So this is why. And I think that the thing that I pull out of this is I need to be much more careful about concessions and stuff. I thought I was by saying, hey, you're saying that again, Vaush, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I said. You know, that's not what I'm saying. You know, that's not what I believe. Like, I try to give those breadcrumbs, but some people will not pick them up because they're only looking for what they want to look for here. And that makes it difficult. Am I correct here or am I going over the top? I want to check in with the chat on this. Am I being fair? $9.99 USD from Hunter Young. You gave me a link. The RGR Vaush stuff starts at $37.30. I heard you ask for a timestamp earlier, but I'm not sure anyone gave it to you. Good. Thank you. And thank you for the $10. I'll look at that right now. I just want to read some of the chat before I do that. So I promise I will get back to it. And if I don't, yell at me, audience. Is that why creators are super scared of conceding random, seemingly obvious points? Yeah. But the problem is, I think that other creators blow up this phenomena in their mind. And to way, way too much, right? Like, I think that other people assume that any concession could be construed in such a way. And because you really want to protect the ego, you really want to protect your how you're appearing, you really want to protect how you're coming off in a conversation, you overestimate this phenomena. And I think that's the problem, is a lot of the time people overestimate that, right? Like, I was careful. I think I was careful to a reasonable extent, but I give concession all the time. I'm Mr. Concession. I love giving concessions, right? You can watch any of my talks, and I love saying, yeah, you're right. Yes, that's totally correct. Yeah, I fucked that up. I like that. I like doing that, right? So I try to take every opportunity I can to concede stuff. And so that's me trying to keep that feeling in check, but a lot of people kind of overestimate that effect, and I think we see that as a problem all the time. I've noticed that in watching debates where I see a streamer fight like hell against biting easy bullets, but if they have their audience in mind, that makes sense. Yeah, I think a wonderful example of that we've talked about, to be specific, would be the Serfs. You can look at the Serfs' conversation with Destiny about the mob violence stuff and about the Rittenhouse situation, even Vaush with the Rittenhouse situation. You can look at Hassan in the police conversation where he didn't want to call the police on people. There's a lot of different instances where I think that this is happening. So you have plenty of examples. I'm sure I don't need to give them, but there's a few just to be specific. Booksmarts just got here. Do you plan on reviewing Dylan versus Big Papa Fash? I am going to download that, and I'm going to listen to it while I go to America today. There are 3 conversations that we absolutely need to look at and probably do a review on. Silly Serious versus Destiny about the sex stuff. Counterpoints, talking to Lauren Southern, because we want to do a review with him next week. And then this Dylan versus Papa Fash thing, I don't know if I want to cover that, but I do want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. A lot of people are recommending it. And people said that Dylan didn't do the greatest in that. So Dylan is a personal friend. Hopefully Dylan could take criticism well. We'll see if there's criticism to be given there or advice that I could give him. I'll look through it. I'll try to find some and I'll give it to him. But I really get uncomfortable giving friends criticism. Like, I feel uncomfortable giving Relly criticism, for example. So it could be rough. Do you think that there's a way to be online as a content creator of any decent size and avoid people like these? I feel like if I was online, then I would just ban these people, which would end poorly. No, there really isn't. And I don't want to ban them because I think that when you ban somebody, you're almost like validating what they're saying in some sort of way. I kind of like timing people out because sometimes it's just like a little bit of a problem. But there are people that are anti-fans and people that are awful. And those people, they probably do need to be banned. I'll be the first to admit it. Vaush's audience is sometimes a special kind of glue eaters. Okay, dude. I'm not going to scroll up anymore. Let's go ahead and check out this RGR Vaush stuff. You said 3730. Okay. We're breaking this segment for some special news here. Let's go ahead and look at this. Oh, man. Well, this is why I need a new laptop. For anybody that was unaware, whoops. Oh, now it's over here. Oh, now it's over there again. Oh, shit. Oh, now it's like this. Oh, good God. Good golly, Miss Molly. This is just not good at all. You said 3730. Okay, we'll go to 3730. Yeah, this is why we're saving up for a new laptop, because mine just can't keep up. It's too damn slow. If you do the Dylan versus BPF debate, could you discuss how to deal with somebody like BPF? Probably, yeah. It seems like every point bounces off of him, even when it's a good point. Did you ever talk to Vivian after you banned her? She was mad for a while. She submitted a ban request form and she didn't take it seriously. She was like cracking jokes on it. So no. And she knows, I've already told her, if you resubmit a ban form and you take it seriously, I'm happy to unban you. But, and this may be stepping out of my lane and making a bad faith assumption, but Vivian has some pride that I don't think will allow her to do that. So I don't expect to see Vivian back, but I will be the bigger person. And anytime she wants to submit an unban request and take it seriously the way anybody else would have to, then we'll do that. Okay. Here's another little bit for derailing your stream a little bit. Oh, wow. Thank you, Hunter. But you're not derailing. You're giving me content, brother. So 3730. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's all going towards a laptop fund, which I hope we hit. I know it's not on screen right now, and Mark would be very mad it's not on screen, but I don't want to take the time to do it. Mark is also going to be very upset because I don't have my YouTube membership stuff all done. I'll do that when I get to the office. I keep putting it off. I'm so sorry, Mark. Mark is going to be very disappointed in Booksmarts because we were supposed to launch YouTube memberships this stream, but I didn't. Like I said, I was up until like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I had to go walk to get water, and the convenience store that was at the end of my street closed. And it has a big ass sign that says abierto, fucking 24 hours. Abierto? How about we call that no es cierto, es falso, porque es un mentiroso, okay? Bunch of mentirosos running the fucking local convenience store, bro. How about you turn off the fucking abierto 24 hours, 24 horas sign if you're not fucking open 24 hours, huh? How about that? I don't speak much Spanish, but I know a lie when I see it, okay? Because you're not open. So then I had to walk another 1.5 kilometers to the next convenience store that was open because I absolutely needed water. I was thirsty. Okay, I was real thirsty. I was fucked up, dude. And I was out walking till like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I had to woke up at 11 for this. So, you know, I'm a little tired. All right, 37:23. Let's go ahead and check this out. Jesus Christ, she's doing a whole thing. She must have not been happy with this. Oh, shit. I think just one more thing. Have you seen RGR's tweet that kind of explains the difference in your approach to Steven's approach?
Yeah, so.
Oh, hold on. I mean...
thing. Oh, yeah, for the privileged folk in the chat, or FOX, or whatever the fuck the politically correct way of saying it is, to the privileged people. In Mexico, you cannot drink the tap water. You will get mucho sick, okay? Mucho enfermo or whatever. You will get fucked up, I believe. Pardon my French. So, yeah, you definitely need bottled water and stuff. Otherwise, you'll get fucked up. I don't have, like, some giant filtration system. Can you turn up the volume a bit? Hell yeah. Oh, that would be why it's quiet. I think that'll do it. Let me know if it doesn't. I can turn it up more. Have you seen RGR's tweet that kind of explains the difference in your approach to Steven's approach?
Yeah, so I still need to respond to her on that. Yes, I've seen that tweet.
And do you have any like abbreviated opinions on that?
I respectfully disagree. My principal criticism of Destiny is that he is not interested in finding the truth when it comes to interacting with lefties. I think he's incredibly hateful towards them, and it makes him say incredibly stupid stuff. So the dichotomy that was laid out by RGR honestly felt to me like a very nice version of like, men and women aren't better or worse than each other. Men are logical and women are emotional, you know? That's kind of how it felt a little bit to me. Like, oh yeah, Vaush is like the emotional one, and stuff, which I reject that criticism.
What? Are you goddamn serious?
It's super quiet? Okay, I'll turn it up. Holy fuck. I knew she would really be upset by that. I knew when he said it that she would be upset by it. Why buy a $400 microphone? Shake my head. I don't think I have a $400 microphone, unless you mean RGR or Vaush. Dono sound. What about Dono sound? Oh, is there no Dono sound? What do you mean? Oh, the Dono sound might be loud? I have no idea what you mean with this, but you're not being helpful, Tommy. I gotta wait for Tommy to elaborate on what the fuck she means by Dono sound. Come on, Tommy. All right, Tommy, out with it. What do you mean? What do you mean? Something wrong? Make it a Dono sound? Oh, okay. Pinche verga. No, bro. I don't care to make it a dono sound. That's not important. Not helpful at all. I have the two. I have the one that I added recently, which is silly serious being all Valley Girl sexy. I don't know how else to describe it, but I like that. Okay, so I'll put that as a dono sound. I don't know about what. I'm not gonna put that. That's very silly. Yeah, I want to like RGR, but she makes it. Oh, geez, you guys are being rude. I kind of figured she would respond to it. I didn't know she was going to make an elaborate thing. The people in Vaush's Discord were making fun of her. Yeah, let me say something, okay? The people in... All right, don't generalize, book smarts. Be very, very careful here. There seems to be some small subsect of people in Vaush's Discord who are, like, incredibly rude. Like, incredibly rude. They're very, very mean to other creators. I've seen them be very, very mean to Riley. They've been very, very mean to me. They've been very, very mean to other people I'm not going to name. I've kept an eye on Vaush's Discord in no small part because of that. Like, I've looked up names other than me, and if anybody looks themselves up in Vaush's Discord, I think they're going to be disappointed by the way that people talk about them. And, like, I'm going to be real with you. I levy criticisms at Vaush and Destiny, but I go to Destiny's Discord, there's only maybe 2 or 3 people that are talking like mad shit about me, right? And they're just people who have a hair up their butt. But man, there are quite a few people in Vaush's Discord that behave that way, and it's really, really rough. Vaush simps, I think it's more than simping because they're being rude to other people. I'm fine if they defend Vaush to like the last breath or whatever. That's a different breed of stupid, right? But the kind of people that like throw shade at every other creator and really talk shit about them, like, guys, Riley Grace Roshong is only half a step removed from like you as a viewer. She's a normal fucking person living a normal fucking life. Right? She's not super duper famous. She's not Khloe Kardashian. She's not super duper privileged or whatever. Like, she's a normal fucking person. So when you talk all this mad shit about her and she sees it, you know that's going to hurt her. Or if you talk mad shit about aristocracy, you know that's going to hurt her. Like, why you would do that, I don't know. You know, try to keep that in mind when you're talking mad shit about people, because I even see you guys do it in my chat with like Vaush or other people. Like, maybe don't. Like, think of a more clever way of saying something that's like meant to be mean but isn't going to be like super duper rude. Like, I don't know, be creative with it if you really want to be rude to somebody. But I mean, some of these things are just like super mean. I don't know. It feels like high school mean girl shit. It's like, you guys need to knock it off. That's just a side note there. Thank you, Fraud.
Oh my god! Did he not read it?
Uh-oh, was that my computer? Or is that her computer? Uh-oh, it's my computer. Why is she this mad? Because she spends a bunch of work on everything and she gets pissed when people don't give her credit for it. It's like when I do a review and Steven's like, it's too long, I can't watch it. And then I'm like, oh, all right, I cut the time in by more than half and I had an editor do all this stuff. Did I say it was too long? I mean, I'm not going to watch it and you can't obligate me to watch it. Like, all right, bro. Now you're being a bit of a cunt. I'll be real with you. I think the C word is more than deserved for behavior like that. You're being a bit of a cunt. So, no, I do. I sympathize with Riley Grace Roshong here. I understand why she's upset because she feels like she put a bunch of work into something and the other person just kind of shooting it down and dismissing it, okay? So, I get that. I'm not shitting on her for that. Man, I don't know how the fuck to fix this, man. Fuck. Man. This is why we're saving up for a new laptop. You see that goal in the top right-hand corner? That's for the replacement laptop. Oh, the YouTube subs are not contributing to that. That's wonderful. I'll go ahead and add them in at the end of the stream. Oh, my ear had popped out when I started laughing, and now it's popped back in so I can hear. Okay, wonderful. Let me figure out the webcam real quick here. Oh, let's see. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's go back to that screen, huh? All right. Webcam is back. Let's go ahead and see what Riley Grace Roshan has to say about this. This is not good. This is not good at all. Scared? Was that shouting it down? It didn't seem that way. Shooting it down didn't seem that way to me. I'm like super. So it is. It's super dismissive. Really? You don't see that at all? Comrade, you were the person that wrote the interesting comment. You really don't think that at all? You don't think that's shooting it down to say that all it was essentially was like a comparison between men and women, that women are irrational and men are rational, and that's okay, we can be different? You really don't feel like that's dismissive? Really? Like, I don't want to spend more time explaining that to you because I am going to get upset, and I don't think I'm going to be very fair to you, but like, if that doesn't meet your threshold for dismissive, we're starting at very different points on that. I think that's incredibly dismissive, but that's whatever.
What? Okay, hold on. I just need... All right, hold on. Just to clear this air.
You said it's a neurodivergency thing. Hey, I got a few DMs about this, and I don't know how to take it. I think I also got a comment on the YouTube. People want me to point out when other people miss social cues from the perspective of helping an autistic person. I don't feel comfortable doing that at all. Am I wrong to think that? I only want neurodivergent or autistic people in the chat to respond to me. Because I feel incredibly uncomfortable with the idea of doing that. But I've gotten multiple comments and DMs from like neurodivergent people saying that that's a helpful thing I should do more of. But it feels like when people ask me to give them advice on how to like discuss trans issues or something with their parents, like, oof, I really don't feel comfortable doing that. You should not do that. That's where I'm feeling with it. I'm artistic. Okay. Of course, Vaush will be dismissive towards this tweet. RGR is basically saying that Destiny has good arguments and Vaush doesn't, but at least Vaush cares about intentions or something. Does she word it like that, though? Does she put in quotes what you put in quotes? Because I don't think that she does. It's useful when things are pointed out to me. Honestly, it helps. On behalf of all the Aspies, it's cool, dude. Okay, so again, I will reiterate, people that are saying no, if you're not neurodivergent, can you shut the fuck up? Because I know that like able-minded or whatever the fuck the other side of it is from neurodivergent, neurotypical people, shut up. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say on this topic because as far as I understand, neurotypical, and I know how I feel about it, and I can project it onto other neurotypical people, but I'm not interested in your opinion. I'm interested in neurodivergent people and what they think about it. So it doesn't feel good, but I think it helps me long term. Okay, you are not in the wrong. It wouldn't be the worst thing to do, but I would personally think someone trained in psychology would be much better. Yeah, that's what I think. Or somebody that makes it a point to do that. I don't think that's something I would want to do. It's helpful for me when it's someone I know and I consented for help, but from a stranger, it feels like armchair diagnosis or at the nicest, patronizing with good intent. Yeah, right? Like, So I'm neurodivergent or however you spell it, and I don't think it would be a good idea. Okay. I'm autistic. I guess I want maybe an example because I'm not sure I understand what exactly you'd be pointing out. So sometimes, especially with tonal stuff, I'll say something like, well, when you say blah, 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 you have to realize it has this impact on people. If I hear you say something like this, then, oh, man, you really want specifics, huh? Because I want to be specific, but I want to make sure I'm not saying something a creator has said because I really don't want to roast the creator and be weird about this, which is kind of getting back to why I'm uncomfortable with the whole idea of it. Like if somebody is not down with a conversation, somebody is communicating to you that they really feel uncomfortable, they want to move off of a topic, right? And you keep focusing on it. Or if they try to concede to you in an effort to like hand wave it and move off of it, and you keep focusing on that concession or keep bringing attention to it. This could be missing some very subtle cues that person's uncomfortable and they don't want to continue talking about something, right? But I've heard from neurodivergent people that when I point things like this out, it can help them because bringing attention to what is obvious to neurotypical people can be really helpful, particularly when it's not levied directly at a neurodivergent person. But the problem is, if I make those criticisms and I have a neurodivergent person sitting in front of me, even if it's beneficial to all the people in the audience who get that information secondhand without getting embarrassed, it's incredibly embarrassing and difficult for the person in front of me. And for that reason alone, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Setting aside the you should be a psychologist thing and everything else, that's mostly what makes me uncomfortable, right? And if you're wrong, that's really fucking rough, right? So, a lot of reasons I feel like not to do that. Okay, personally, I actually love that because learning to mask basically made me learn to do that myself. So you'd be teaching me how to mask, I guess. But technically, masking is harmful. Yeah, so we get into a whole thing there. It is definitely helpful for us, but not sure it fits your content. But more importantly, if you're not comfortable, don't do it. Streams are always bad when the streamer is uncomfortable. This isn't between two ferns. Yeah, true. That's just something I wanted to run by you guys. I don't think it would be useful to tie it to neurodivergence. You already seem to point it out these things with... Fuck, dude. You're hurting my brain. I got to skip past it. Making those criticisms on a public forum can be disabled for being ND. I actually appreciate it when folks recognize the problems like that, but the potential for being wrong and harmful is too high in my opinion. Okay. I think I'm figuring out where the level ground is at. And thank you, neurotypical people, for shutting the fuck up for that short little period. You can welcome back. Hey, neurotypical people. All right, come back in. We're good. You can chat again. We're past it. I just wanted you to shut the fuck up for 2 seconds while we listen to the people that matter on this topic, and now we're moving on.
This is going to give me a fucking aneurysm.
I'm sorry, Riley. This is just hilarious to me. I'm taking so much pleasure in this, but it's just because I knew that this was going to happen. That's most of it. I don't think it's funny that you're going through it, but I knew that you would. I knew that would upset you when it happened.
So to be
honestly, I didn't expect him to be that dismissive of it. At all. I really thought that maybe he would handle it a little bit better, but he went full on fuck this person mode, and that was a bit rough. I really thought he was going to be well, I can see where Riley's coming from, blah, 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 blah. I thought it would be handled more politically, and evidently it was not.
Explicitly clear about what my criticism is, and I want to be absolutely clear because I actually literally said in this argument, this is not to say that Vaush often makes incorrect arguments. I literally explicitly stipulated to it. I said clearly that that's not the case. That I'm not saying that he doesn't care about the truth. My argument is that when since it seems to be the case that he primarily cares about intent, which doesn't seem to be a bad read of the circumstance, and when his care about intent and focusing on intent comes into conflict, the mic can't take that volume. I'm sorry. But that my argument that, all right, hold on. I'll literally just read word for word. While Destiny and Vaush seem to both value the merits of arguments that they engage with, again, I say they both value the merits of the arguments that they engage with and the intentions of people who make those arguments. Destiny seems to be primarily value the former, while Vaush seems to primarily value the latter. And that's literally evident here. Vaush isn't talking about Destiny's arguments. He's talking about Destiny's intent. That's what he cares about. That's what he's citing to here. He's literally citing to Destiny's intent when justifying his actions towards him or his beliefs on him. Because that's what he primarily cares about. This isn't a bad read when he literally does that right here. And to say that this is sexism, to say, oh, well, he doesn't care about that Vaush is too emotional. I never made any sort of claim to that extent whatsoever. At all. I'm saying that there's a...
This is an uncomfortable thing for me to say. But I'm going to say it, okay? This... not to self-aggrandize, but I feel a bit like the lawyer in How to Kill a Mockingbird. Hey, I know you guys aren't going to be happy with this one, but I do see where he is coming from with saying this. He's saying this because it feels like it's very clear that you value this like cold rationality of destiny more than you value this caring about intent. And so that's why he's making this analogy. It's getting at the feeling of the thing. I'm not sure it's based on what your actual arguments are. You said that that is indicative of exactly what you're talking about with the intent thing. And I can see in that direction. Like, come with me for a second, Riley. So yes, so let's hold that for a second. The feeling that is being communicated here, I think, is clear. Even if like your arguments are one thing, I think the takeaway for the person reading it is definitely there as well, right? Like, I definitely feel reading this and knowing you that you much more value Steven's outlook on things than you do Vaush's, and you are dismissive to Vaush's like perspective here. And I think putting everything onto intent makes it seem like he doesn't care about the antithesis of that. He doesn't care about the opposite. He doesn't care about the logic and stuff. You're creating like a dichotomy between these two people, and it's a dichotomy of like that he's not going to agree with. And if he thinks that intent is summarizing him improperly, it feels like you're labeling him with that just to be dismissive of him in the nicest way possible. And I think that's the sentiment he means to get across with that woman-man comparison. That like, yeah, I low-key think that like women are lesser than men, but hey, I guess it has its perks. You're good at X and Y. Like if I have to concede on something you're good at, yeah, there's benefits to it, sure. Are they benefits that I would trade? Would I want to be a woman versus being a man? No. But there are benefits, of course. That's the thing that I think he's trying to communicate. There is a sentiment behind the statement, and it may not be tied to the arguments you're making in the thing. I know that's frustrating. I'm not saying I agree with him or not, but I am saying that seems to be what he's getting at. He's pointing at a sentiment more than he is like responding to like your actual arguments in the thing. That's my opinion. Isn't this a meta example about looking at the intent behind looking at the intent, thus reinforcing the point he looks at intent? I don't want to concede that fully to Riley because I haven't thought about it from that angle. Her saying that just now like clicked for me in a way that I didn't think about it at the time. I don't want to just jump onto that because if Vaush sees that and he thinks I'm being unfair, I don't want Vaush to think I'm being unfair to him. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I do get where she's coming from on that as well. Yeah, it seems to be indicative of her point in the paper that he is focusing on like what her intent was or what emotion she's trying to communicate or what her beliefs were more than how she is communicating those or the point she's using to tell that story. He does seem to cut through all of that right to like what Riley is actually believing and what he believes that she's communicating here. But I'm not sure I call that intent. Like this is where I struggle with it because like was Riley's intent here to communicate what Vaush picked up on? No. I don't think that Riley wrote this with the intent for people to pick up on what I just described. If anything, I think if I told Riley and she took it seriously that it communicated that before this was published, I'm pretty sure she would say, oh, I don't want it to communicate that. That's not good. Let's go ahead and edit it. I'm not sure that Riley intentionally wants this to communicate that. It's just an unfortunate consequence of the way that this is worded, the way it comes off, especially having context of the way that Riley has handled these two people in the past. So it's all of that that's painting this picture for me. And it's not a picture that I think Riley set out to paint. It's just one that unfortunately was painted through this, right? And that's why I think she's frustrated. So that's where I struggle with just admitting that to you guys. Like, sure, but I'm not sure that was Riley's intent. Like, you're just ascribing that intent to her. I think it's more apt to say that we're kind of describing the way that Riley feels about something. I keep going back to this, describing it as a feeling than I am intent, because you have to know what intent was to talk about intent. And I don't think she intended to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being uber charitable to Riley. Here's the disclaimer. I'm biased against Riley. I like Riley. I think she's cool. I look forward to meeting her in real life at some point and maybe having dinner with her. She seems a rat. She seems like a cool person. I like Riley. And sorry, that posh voice kind of builds up spittle. And quite frankly, I don't get along too well with Vaush. I've been a staunch critic of him. I don't like the way he handles some of his conversations. I've been critical of him in the past. People have even said I'm unfair towards him. So that's worth taking a note here as well. Perhaps the only reason that I'm deflating that intent opinion and that intent perspective is because I just disagree with Vaush. That could be the case. I'm trying to keep that and course corrected and be fair to both sides here, saying that I understand where Vaush is coming from, even if I think he's pointing more to feeling than he is intent. And I'm trying to be fair to Riley's crew by saying, sure, that could be an intent thing, but I think it's a feeling thing. I think I'm being consistent there and in picking a middle road that lines with what I think. But yeah, I may be biased here. This is a tough situation. So yeah, too long didn't read. What are we talking about today? You're dumb fuck. No use giving you a TLDR when you have no ability to R. Bummer. I thought you kind of liked Vaush. I only say this because people say that I'm biased. So I have to and I've been mean to him. And I have to keep in mind things in the back of my head that are negative about Vaush when I watch stuff about him. So, yeah, but I enjoy having conversations with him. I much more enjoy talking to him than I do reviewing him. Reviewing him is an absolute nightmare. I do not enjoy necessarily reviewing him and writing reviews about him. But every time I've talked with him, it has been pleasant. We may have some rough parts where we disagree, particularly around Steven, and we fight a little bit. But on the whole, I enjoy my conversations with him. I find him enjoyable to talk to, if we went to a sit-down dinner, I'm pretty sure I would have a good time with the guy, similar with Riley. I'm sure we would get along. But one thing to keep in mind is I get along with almost anybody. The only people that I, even if I don't like you, I'm able to get along with you. There's a lot of people I can get along with, and I think the debate stuff I wish I could separate it more. And I think this becomes clear when we meet in person, for the Georgia event, meeting Synth. Synth is somebody I've been hard on. Synth is an awful debater. Synth can be a piece of shit in a conversation, right? But Synth is also adorable. She's super duper cute in person, and she gets along with everybody, and she goes with the flow, and she's not this outspoken person that she tries to be when she's trying to be an entertainer. I can get along with Synth, even if I think that when she debates, she can be a shitter, right? And I always go to that example because in my opinion, and Synth can correct me if I'm wrong, but we got along fine in person. I enjoyed being around her, of all the people at that event, Synth would be one of a handful that if you told me pick 5 people to go to dinner with, she would be one of them. Because her and I'm not sure their relationship now, but her and Emily, those 2 people were wonderful. I enjoyed talking with them. I enjoyed talking with most of the people in Georgia. So, it's just rough. It's tough to make that clear to you guys. And there's a parasocial thing too, right? I've only talked with Vaush when we're live, I've DM'd him and I've emailed him and he's a little bit different there. But I've never met the dude. I don't know what he's like. And all of our interactions are in this parasocial theater in front of thousands of people, So that may taint things. But yeah, I get along well with him. So there is that. Anywho, back to this.
A different value judgment there.
A Vaush raid?
And it's not inherently
Was there
wrong.
A Vaush raid? I don't think I have. Oh, I have my alert box up, but it doesn't appear that I got anything. If I got a Vaush raid, hello Vaush people.
Leads to issues, just like Destiny's approach is not inherently correct or the best way possible because I explicitly lay out limitations of it up here as well. Both approaches, there's no perfect way to be able to approach this.
Nope. And you tried to be as fair as you could by including that stuff, but there's subtext to it. We know what you believe, Riley. We've seen your coverage. And that's the difficult thing. If somebody doesn't want to entertain your arguments in here or take it at face value, It's going to be difficult. And as much as I would like to imagine Vaush to be the perfect person that's going to take all your arguments at face value, I think if I had to put money on something, I'd put money on him not doing that, right? Like, I thought he would give some little bit of, talking about the arguments here, which he kind of didn't. But, I don't think it's like reasonable to expect that either. Maybe it's just because I've been doing these reviews and stuff for a long time, so I have an idea of how these like bigger creators will handle this stuff. But like, if I had to put money, I don't put money on him doing that, even if you put in these caveats and stuff, because people see subtext and people will look for a narrative that you're trying to fight against. But it's rough. It's rough. What the fuck? YouTube chat shows up on screen. Poggers. Yeah, of course. My YouTube chat is equal, if not, like, my YouTube chat is a lot like the Jewish people in Palestine. Like, they've kind of come and they've dominated everything. And now the Palestinians are the second-class. Now my fucking Twitch chat are the second-class citizens, and they're being harassed. And I think the YouTube chat is slowly phasing out all of my Twitch chat. So that's a very yikers analogy, but I'm going to say that one because I do feel like it's apt. Don't go there, but I went there. I hold back so many jokes. I'm going to pop that one off. That's a very apt comparison because honestly, like, that is what's happening. YouTube chat is, and I said this at the end of the last stream, YouTube chat is kind of becoming far more important to me than my Twitch chat. And that is the one that's growing, and that's the one that I'm sorry, they came in and they fucking took your guys' land. I don't know what to do about it, but at least the Twitch chat can fight back reasonably, So Twitch chat, ask your friends to join on Twitch and start fighting the YouTube chat because you guys are quickly getting... Yeah, I'm going to stop with the comparison because it's not good. But anywho, let's keep listening to Riley here.
So I'm just trying to descriptively lay out the pros and cons of each. But holy fuck. Like, this is the absolute worst possible read. The absolute worst possible read of my argument. And I hate this because I've been really, 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 really trying to be as charitable and to be as constructive as I can be. And if that's what I get, fuck that.
Well, you get along with Vaush. He felt the same way about the Reddit post about him. To the person earlier that didn't understand why Riley was upset at the very beginning, I hope that's clear to you now. I haven't seen this. It would appear that I was able to predict why she's upset about it, because she puts in a lot of work and she tries to be fair and balanced, and a lot of work goes into making sure the nuts and bolts of this are as charitable as they can possibly be. But the subtext is too strong here, and I think that people are going to read into that. I think the Vaush in particular is going to read into that, and I'm not sure it's fair to say that's unreasonable of him necessarily. I think it's like predictable. So big, big Sag. But yeah, to the person that didn't understand earlier, there you go. I think it's predictable. I can understand why Riley was upset here. I can also understand why Vaush had the interpretation he had, which is why, like, I'm between a tough spot because, like, there was ways to improve this, and I think it's predictable the way it turned out on the Riley side, but also on the Vaush side, like, it probably would have been better to have some kind of response to our arguments, being uber fair to Vaush, because I'm trying to do that more and more. Clearly, I have a bias. You guys are mentioning a Destiny bias, maybe an RGR bias. I have a Vaush bias. Let me correct for it here. Let me go extra charitable to Vaush. Vaush had mentioned in passing when this came up that he was meaning to reply to RGR properly, that he had seen it and he was preparing a response to it. It could be that what we saw was an undeveloped version of that response. Perhaps he would have been much more political. Perhaps he would have talked more substantively about the points that she was making, maybe even using quotes, had he had the time and the opportunity to flesh that out. That could very well be the case. That's my uber charitability to Vaush here, and I hope you think that's fair. But like, he did say that he wanted to work on a proper response to it and address it in full, and I was kind of robbing him of that opportunity community by asking him about it and by him giving an answer. You know, it's a two-way street, but you know, that could also be the case here. I could see that being the case. That's me trying to be charitable. IRL, not just performative. He brought out the hammer. Yeah, he hit her with the hammer, dude. You can't be hitting bitches with hammers, bro. That's a good clip. You can't be hitting bitches with hammers, bro, because you're gonna fucking concuss them. It's not good. They're not gonna understand what the fuck just happened. So yeah, I mean, that's me trying to be fair to Vaush. That's we'll watch a little bit more of this just to see if Riley says anything else.
And clip. Fuck it. You know what? Actually, change of plans, fam. You know what we're doing? We're making a short. All right? That's what we're doing with our time. We're having a change of plans. All right? Let's see.
All right, it's time to be mean to Riley. It's time to be mean to Riley. You guys ready for this? Oh, you're gonna love it. I'm just kidding. Riley, if I had one criticism for you or one bit of advice, here it is. Maybe we'll go full screen for this. I don't know, because I don't want to watch the rest of this, quite frankly. Because she's gonna do her own thing. If she comes out with a short, we'll check it out. But Riley, one of the main problems I see with your coverage and content is you spend an inordinate amount of time dealing with dissent. I am somebody who also has had and continues to have a problem dealing with dissent and balancing, these two things. I think that you've developed a reputation of over focusing on dissent to the point where it's like making up a large chunk of like your intellectual content is dealing with dissenting opinions. I think you have to get better at balancing like how much time you spend on people who are dissenting versus like improving and developing whatever these arguments are. And beyond that, if you're like, well, I put a ton of work into this, how much more work am I supposed to do? If people don't take it, then maybe the next step is to like, work against the dissent. Hold on. Because remember that my advice is to get better at delivering whatever the criticism is, at delivering whatever your argument is, right? Go back to the drawing board. I keep saying kitchen because I like saying that on the stream, like not in like a anti-woman way, but like get back in the kitchen and cook up a new recipe. But it comes off as misogynistic, so I won't use that. But yeah, like we have to go back to the drawing board and we have to figure out what went wrong with this, right? If the rocket crashed, we need to figure out why that happened. At what point did it go south? And then work to iterate upon that. We can't be talking about how frustrated we were with the rocket blowing up or something like that. We don't want to focus on the phenomena of the failure. We want to focus on the things that led to that happening. What added up in the planning and in the execution of your argument and stuff that led to this thing falling out of the sky, right? That's what we want answers for. That's what's productive. It's not productive to do it the way that you're doing it. We saw this when you had your discourse around remember you had the multiple things about gender, and one of them was your objective gender, and people had a big fucking problem with objective. That's what I mean is like, rather than focusing on fighting the dissent and arguing with your dissenters, you lost like a huge chunk of your community doing that, right? So like, this is something we see that keeps coming up. I think in the moments where that's happening, rather than fighting against all the dissenting people at full force, like still doing the same argument that you had initially that people had problems with, you need to rework the argument, and you need to realize that there's different dimensions to this, right? I think it's becoming increasingly clear that you need to keep in mind optics and emotions in the arguments that you're presenting, because that is a dimension that you're missing out on, you're not spending any attention on. What are the optics of saying objective gender? Objective. What do normal people think that objective means? Not legally, not in the best faith way possible. How would they interpret this? common parlance in the community, how did people interpret that word? Not well. You had to change that one word. They did not necessarily have problems with your arguments, and that can be uber frustrating. But I think it should be enlightening to you, because what it means is your argument is fine. You don't need to change that. You need to change the delivery. You need to make it more palatable. You need to account for variables that you are not accounting for, like the emotions of the person that you're trying to communicate to. Or you need to realize that Vaush is going to be in a part of the audience, and how is he going to misinterpret this, right? How might he be coming at this emotionally? What is the subtext of this? And can anybody pick up on something that's negative? I think inviting more people into your key group of like maybe people that give you advice and stuff that speak to this might be helpful to you. And in a broader sense, like getting better at like kind of working that in when you're trying to interpret like dissenting opinions against you, and spending less time arguing with them on the same point the same way you made it initially, and more time on analyzing why they're interpreting it that way, right? If you said something and people are coming away with an entirely different conclusion, that happens somehow. Like, it's like if we're mixing chemicals together and you're like, how strange. Today I'm mixing these chemicals together and it's giving me foam instead of a gel. How fucking frustrating. These stupid chemicals, I'm going to keep mixing them until it works. Like, well, no, this is a science. We're getting like the same thing happening over and over again. We need to look at the chemical composition here and figure out why it's foaming. We cannot keep mixing them together and hoping that they will gel. We have to look at this, realize that there's a variable we're not accounting for that is leading to this result, and then account for that variable. And I don't think you've done the first step on trying to even account for that variable or see that there's another variable there. You're still mixing the same stuff together, hoping that it will come out one way, thinking it must come out one way. You've constantly, it's constantly been proven to you that that's not the case, right? You cannot go purely logical at this or say that people should interpret it in the best way possible or anything like that. You have to get better as a communicator, right? And I think part of that is observing this dimension of things and paying more attention to it, which is something I started out my career on Twitch talking about all the time, because the debate bro people often don't get that. Not to say you're a debate bro, because you've been perfectly good faith in a bunch of conversations and stuff, but I think that like there is an emotional level of things that you're not paying a ton of attention to that I think you do need to pay more attention to. And I probably do too. I need to follow this advice as well. And I do. And like, that's a huge struggle for me, is like, I have to deal with the emotions of somebody and realize that those may be even more important than the points that I'm making. And I will receive criticism for it. Why didn't you go even harder on Vaush about this point? You were totally correct. You had examples, yada, yada. He wasn't emotionally ready for that. We weren't going to be able to have that conversation. And I didn't have the tools to diffuse that. So the best thing for me to do was not to keep dissenting, not to keep fighting with him about it or whatever. The best thing to do was to go back to the drawing board, drop something new, get as far as I could go. And that is what it is, It's frustrating, but I think that's like the advice moving forward. I'm assuming this is about Vaush. Yeah, it was about Vaush. Riley was upset because of the way that he kind of essentialized her arguments and said that it was like a misogynistic dealio. I feel like most of this has been cited primarily against Riley, Booksmarts. If I'm being honest, I think you may be overcompensating against your... No, it's like... What is the advice for Vaush here? Read the fucking arguments, dude. How about you try to be more fair, dude? Like, there's not really advice here for Vaush. Like, I don't know. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, comrade, but there's not... Oh, man. Now I have to, like, keep in mind that, like... don't say that. That's rude to comrade. Comrade, like... I'm giving this advice to Riley because Riley is the one who could be improved here. Vaush can't improve. Vaush had an emotional response to this thing. Vaush probably was preparing some other stuff. I've already said all that. Like, pardon if I'm getting upset, but I already said what I could say for Vaush. The reason I'm focusing on Riley is because I think Riley could be receptive to it. Riley has something that is in my wheelhouse for helping her with. Riley has something where, like, I'm not invalidating emotions of Riley's by telling her to, like, go back to the drawing board and think these things out, right? And to prepare better arguments. Like, it is going against Vaush's emotions to say that he shouldn't have an emotional response to this thing, or he shouldn't infer these. Like,
I've already said that. There's not much more I can say. Be better faith in reading her thing, respond to the arguments. It seemed like that was his plan, and I took that away from him. So, like, you know, that is what it is. I think Riley is the one that could get advice here that's actually going to help somebody. This is why I super value your channel. You construct this channel in ways that it's kind of like a class that I don't hate my life being in. You don't only keep the rhetoric critique to your chat, etc., the neurotypical shut up, but I also see hella I could apply, even if it would be so easy to say that this only applies to streamers. That may have limited your growth for a time because chat hates being critiqued in the ways we are happy to apply to streamers. Okay. Anyway, I'll hop off your dick now. Fuck you. Okay.
Hey, fucker. How's it going?
I love that alert.
You are doing amazing work.
Thanks.
Here's one towards the laptop goal.
Damn. Guy just tipped $20. Thanks, Guy. I wonder who that is. Oh, no. I don't think Vaush can get criticism from this. I'm not saying Vaush can improve. I don't think he can. Oh, okay. Then what was the point of... Hey, Booksmarts, maybe you should spend some more time giving Vaush advice because I think you're overcompensating here. You're giving a lot of criticism to Riley, but I think you should give some to Vaush. I actually already gave criticism to Vaush. I feel like I did that in the very... I'm not saying you could. I'm just saying maybe if you could pull some out of your ass, it might be nice because it's looking like you're being really hard on Riley. Okay, yeah, I am being hard on Riley. I get that, but yeah, it's not... You know, Vaush is perfect. How dare you? Good point, Ira. Good point. He's just done everything perfectly. The short was linked earlier. It's on your Discord. Oh, shit. All right. Can somebody link me the short in my chat? I'm very lazy. He's already down. Stop hitting. I know. I'm sorry, comrade. I'm just doing it for the funsies. It's good content to roast the chat every so often. And you have to. Otherwise, they get out of line. Booksmart's voices are like an early Simpsons cartoon. Well, I did watch a lot of Simpsons when I was little. All right, Riley has a tweet and some status. I hope this isn't about me. Twit longer. Why Booksmart is a biased fuck. Let's see. Maybe it's the short. Oh, shit. RGR's tweet. Oh, boy. The dissent segment should be cut and clipped and uploaded to the main It won't. I told you, motherfuckers, we got a different plan with that channel, and it's YouTube's fault. Blame YouTube. Maybe we'll make a Clips channel. We'll push it on the Clips channel. But honestly, the channel has not been successful doing that shit. So as much as I know, as Booksmart viewers, you guys would love to have clips. Like, the main channel is to grow the brand and my presence. Remember, Mark, the marketing guy, we're calling him Mark now. That's not his name, but we're going to call him Mark. For Mark, like... He's saying that we need to grow the YouTube channel as a way of like growing the brand in general, and that more eyes and more subs there is going to result in more people watching and better economics and yada yada. So the main channel, we're trying to put out bangers every time. We're not just trying to put out content. We're trying to put out bangers that will do very well and that we can build momentum off of. That's why for the next video or two, I may even just focus on doing reviews and doing what do you call it? That video that I was going to do about the Japanese and why there wasn't really a plan B that was feasible besides using the nuclear weapons. That sounds really rough. I promise I'll make a good argument for it. But yeah, so main channel, we're just trying to put out bangers. Maybe I'll make a Clips channel and it'll go there. But, you know, you guys didn't turn up and not enough people liked the YouTube channel when it was Clips. So that's not what we're doing anymore. Big rip. Just like when I did Tutor Tuesdays, nobody shows up. Oh, well, it's getting axed. I don't feel one way about it, you know? It's like a horse with a broken leg. Unfortunately, God designed you poorly, and that's not my bad. Tweet that kind of explains the difference in your approach to Steven's approach.
Yeah, so I respectfully disagree. My principal criticism of Destiny is that he is not interested in finding the truth when it comes to interacting with lefties. I think he's incredibly hateful towards them, and it makes him say incredibly stupid stuff. So... The dichotomy that was laid out by RGR honestly felt to me like a very nice version of, like, men and women aren't better or worse than...
He even says it. He says that felt to me. So he's not saying that's what she's saying.
Stupid.
Like, the more charitable I try to be to Vaush, the more I feel like there ain't really a lot here to say to Vaush, guys. I'm really sorry. Like, I know you have a hate boner for him, particularly with our coverage, but, like... I love you, Riley, but I can't levy the same stuff at Vaush here.
So the dichotomy that was laid out by RGR honestly felt to me like a very nice version of like men and women aren't better or worse than each other. Men are logical and women are emotional. You know, that's kind of how it felt a little bit to me. Like, oh yeah, Vaush is like the emotional one, which I reject that criticism. In short, I have been sexist against. I have been the victim of sexism. That's my take.
This is just a blatantly wrong reading of my criticism. I made it explicitly clear to say that my criticism was not that Vaush makes incorrect arguments, and never said that he doesn't care about finding the truth. Just that while he does care about the truth, he seems to care more about the intent of the people that he engages with, specifically exposing bad faith actors in mainstream political discourse. I also specifically was not arguing that his approach was a bad one. I wrote this up the day after my debate with Actual Justice Warrior because I think Vaush's approach is ultimately better when dealing with a bad faith actor. The point was to say that this approach can sometimes also lead to issues when dealing with good faith actors who raise otherwise substantive criticisms, which ironically was the case here. The whole point was that this was supposed to be complimentary and constructive. This just feels like a shitty way to be treated when ultimately all I tried to do was to help. I even expressly reached out to say that I'd be available to chat if he wanted to before this, and he never responded. Plus, it's negligent to jokingly call me sexist to an audience primed to dislike me already, since it may be echoed unironically. I don't know. I tried and I just feel hurt. I feel like I've been hurt and not heard. And until such a time where I can get like an apology for the negligent comments and like some degree of understanding from him, then I'm just going to block him on Twitter.
Fuck. Goddamn. Well, that's rough. I wasn't cracking up at the misogyny part. That came unfortunately after she talked about having reached out to him and he didn't reply. You know what's really frustrating here? I'm going to say this. I'm going to take this opportunity to do a very egotistical thing. Do not email me, DM me, chat to me about how XYZ creator has not responded to your shit. Riley never did this to me, but I will take the opportunity to say that. There are 101 reasons why people don't. We figured out one of those reasons for Vaush is he's still doing everything on his own like a dumb fuck. I'm going to call him a dumb fuck because I think he would agree he's a dumb fuck for doing that. He's a dumb fuck for only being the only person that touches his Twitter DMs and his emails and everything else. At his size, with the volume of messages that I'm sure that he's getting, he needs to have somebody helping him. Why he does not, I have no idea. This is what I said to him at the time, and it's something that like I repeat to people a lot behind the scenes with tutoring and other stuff is you either do it on your own and fail like you're doing right now, or you invite somebody else and you delegate the task and you actually have it done. Those are the real two options that you have. It's not I do it my way and I do it perfectly, or I have somebody else and it's not perfect. It's I do it my way and I fail at it, or I have somebody else help and it gets done, but not in a perfect way. There is no perfect you with a perfect amount of time to perfectly respond to everything. You are limited by time. Vaush knows this, and therefore, there's too much. You can't do it. You're never going to finish all of them. So, like, you're just going to fail at the task if you continue to, like, be hard-headed about it and do it on your own. You need help. And I think Vaush probably needs to do that, like, sooner rather than later, because it's clearly bringing up problems. But in any event, he did mention his conversation with me, and I'll repeat that, like, he wanted to get back to Riley, but evidently he didn't. Or you can actively seek to remain within a small niche. Yeah, but that's like that's not capitalist. Plus, he famously never answers anyone as a result, which is why I'm saying, like, you either fail at it, doing it on your own, or you have other people help.
Appreciate what you do with me.
Oh, thanks. I love the French voice. 1,000 biddies. Thank you so much. Wow, look at you, eminent one. Tempest, okay. Tempest manages the Instagram DMs, not Twitter. Okay, well, somebody needs to be managing something. That's all I'm saying. He's not doing a very good job on his own. Or you can actively seek to I read that. Plus, he famous. Okay, I read that. I thought he did. Didn't Tempest make a joke about going through DMs when he mentioned he was single? Evidently not. But yeah, Vaush, I believe, only answers emails, and if I recall correctly, RGR said she DM'd him on Twitter, which is rough. Yeah. Here's the other thing. I'm putting on the gloves to beat the shit out of other content creators now and not chatters. Content creators. I'm looking at RGR. I'm looking at Dr. Heemed Out. I won't keep naming people because this is mean, but you need to realize other people, regardless of how well your channel is doing or how well you perform or how good of a debater or good faith you are, yada, yada, none of that shit matters. You need to be on top of putting fire under the asses of other people to make conversations happen. Do you know how long I was in Vaush's emails and shit before we talked the first time when I was in Vegas? It took a long time. And, Destiny, I had to think a lot about the way that I'm wording this email for Destiny in a way that he's going to be able to get the gist of what I'm saying super quickly. And it got me on his show the very first time. When I DM him, when I go onto his show, when I go into his chat with him, I'm very strategic. That's all work on my part. I wait until he has nothing that he's doing. He's not going through drama. He looks bored. And then I go, hey, you want to shoot the shit? Hey, are you down to talk about this? Hey, would you be comfortable talking about blah, blah, blah? And then I go on because I'm here to help give him content. Every time I go on there and I talk to him, this is a two-way street. Destiny's getting conversation and content, and I am having the ability to be on his platform, hang out with him, and have a good time, right? So this is a two-way street. Content creators, you cannot put shit on the other person for not replying to you. You have to be annoying. As bad as it feels to be annoying, I think a lot of content creators need to get over that. Yeah, you're going to have to. That's how business works. I think that Riley has worked in businesses before. If you are in charge of emailing, whether it's a sponsor or whether it's somebody you need to collect an invoice from or whatever, you have to be annoying. You're going to feel like you're being annoying, but you have to get over that really quickly because the fact is that you are one bird of many chirping in the ears of somebody who is busy all day. And the bird that gets fed is the one that chirps the loudest. So you have to do that. Is there a balance there? Could you be so annoying that you're never getting a response? Yes. Are you anywhere near that sending one DM? No. Could there have been more than one DM in this particular instance? Sure. I only saw the one. But as general advice that anybody listening to this could take, you have to put fire under the asses of other people. You should not just get upset that they didn't meet you halfway and do it, right? Because you're just offloading the work. You're saying, I wish they would do the work to think of me as important and to make me a priority. That's not going to happen. You have to make you a priority. You have to be you have to work to be in their mind's eye and to be that person in their ear and to hit them at the right time and to send the right, there's an art to it. And you have to get better at it. When I first started doing essay writing, I learned very quickly that collecting invoices is the bane of any business owner's existence. To have to hunt down people that owe you money after they've already been delivered work is cancerous. Therefore, after a few years of paying somebody to go after people for invoices and stuff, I decided, hey, this is shady work. I'm just going to have them pay up front. And I'm going to lose 10% of my customers because they don't want to pay up front. Fuck them, because most of that 10% are the people who are going to be problematic when I need to get my invoices. So you need to come up with solutions to get around that, and you're going to figure those out over time. I figured out, how do I get somebody to answer and stay on the phone long enough that I can tell them about whatever they owe me or whatever I need out of them, right? How can I entice people to respond to an email or make it very easy for them so that they can just do it immediately after reading it and not shelve it because it's a difficult thing to respond to? If you DM me this tweet of a giant fucking legal head fucking essay, I might go, fuck, dude, that's a lot of fucking reading. I got a lot of shit to do. I'm on the toilet. I'm only going to be here for 5 more minutes. I'll respond to Riley at some point in the future. And then it never gets done, right? And that's half your bad as much as it is his bad because you want your thing done. So you have to get better at making that happen. And there are ways that you could do that you're choosing not to do. So for a lot of creators and people in business or anybody that needs to hear this, remember, you have to be the person making yourself a priority to people. You have to be the person putting fire under people's butts. Don't start crying about people not responding to you because it's not going to do you any good. Any energy you spend on crying should be spent on better getting that message out to them. And that sounds like tough love, but this is a business thing that I feel like people could use help with. At Booksmarts, I'd also add, have something productive to say for the other person. Simply challenging to a debate or simply rambling about an opinion doesn't matter if you don't frame it as, this is important for you, ex-content creator. Yes, so such common sense that I didn't even think to mention it. But yes, you need to make it enticing. This is what I mean by enticing. Yes. So like, let me use your words here. This is important for you, content creator. Like, yeah, you have to make sure that this thing is sold in a way where that person wants to respond. They feel like they can respond. There's a lot to that. It needs to be brief. It needs to be something that's actionable. It needs to be something that's easy to respond to. If you don't do these things, then it's going to be put off forever. Don't leave somebody with an amorphous task. Don't be like, well, it's obvious I want to schedule a debate when I said that we disagree about X and Y and Z and B and D and E and F. Like, well, you sent me a paragraph and I just didn't want to read it. That's what it, so yeah, there's a lot to that. Do you think Naruto could beat Madara at the end of Shippuden if he had Rinnegan? No. Madara is just a lot smarter than Naruto, and I think in a one-on-one he would whoop his ass. Kind of like how I comment on streams, Lamau, and he has Mokton. He has wood style and stuff. He would like be good at dealing with the Ninetales and stuff. On his own, I think Naruto would get his ass beat. Kind of like how I comment on streams, Lamau. If you want something, there is work to be done for you to have higher chances of getting it. Yeah. At Booksmarts, earlier you asked Chad about the interrogation vibe. If you're coming to Vaush with a number of questions and criticisms, but you're also not going for the jugular, then your tone options are limited. I think for the conversation to feel more organic, you may need Vaush to come with a more exploratory approach himself. There may be a way to entice that exploration, but not if you start the conversation with that direct approach. Yeah, and to be fair, I think I do a little bit of the hammer. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, okay. Hey, Booksmarts, just as a heads up, my criticism was that it seemed like you were preempted any Vaush statement with "let's interpret this charitably," something which I didn't perceive was lent to RGR. No, because I don't need to. I really like RGR. It pains me to be mean to RGR. It took me a minute to realize that why you're doing that is primary. Okay, oh fuck, I broke the thing. I'm gonna be real with you, comrade. Were you not one of the neurodivergent people? Like, I don't know how much I can like play to the neurodivergent audience, but I do feel like the neurotypical audience probably picked up on what the fuck I was talking about. So as much as I would love to caveat everything for that particular group of people, I really don't think I can. I think I was clear there. So I'm gonna be real with you. There we go. Hopefully this works. Oh God, please. We're never going to get through this fucking criticism corner. It's literally going to be all stream. I'm feeling into my bones. All right, we'll go to the webcam. I can't. It's not working. All right, there we are. No, it's all good. Act within your circle of control, not mine. Yeah, I get you, bro. I'm just saying that so you don't keep sending me paragraphs and I feel bad if I can't respond to them substantively if I start making fun of you. Okay. Fuck. I just want Anprim smarts. I don't even know what the fucking Anprim is, dude. We don't plant flowers around here. I especially feel your proactive approach super effective if you really try. True. Okay, so that's the Riley thing. I think we're all done with that. Let's just finish off the criticism corner and then we're good. Whenever you rage, whenever you want to rage at someone else, I'm in chat. Just fuck. I can't read. Fuck off, Vels. I'll beat you with the fucking. Oh wait, hold on. I'll beat you in a video game. What am I saying here? You guys are pissing me off. Move the roast meter up. We're at like 80%. I'm getting real fucking mad, dude. Move my roast meter up. I'm getting pissed. I'm getting real fucking upset. You guys are pissing me off. You're testing my fucking patience. And you don't even mean to. At Vels, you don't want that. Trust me. Yeah, you really don't, Vels, because I'll figure out what the fuck bothers you, and then I'll pick at it. I'll pick at it like a fucking wound, a festering wound, dude. So just, keep that in mind, bro. That's not what you want. You don't want roast smarts, believe me. Don't tell me. Don't hop up on that cross, buddy, because you're not fucking coming back on Easter. I'll tell you that much, bro. I'll tell you that much. I love my Jesus jokes. Okay, where are we going with this? I need to look at my criticism again. All right, switch scenes here. All right. There we are. The first message I ever wrote in chat months ago, you roasted me on. Yeah, well, I can already see why, brother. I can already see why. Why does Roast Smart sound a tiny bit like Donkey? I don't know, dude, because I have no idea. That's the voice in my brain this mean. All right. We read that one. Nice convo after the Pepe laugh D. Vaush lies. Okay. Oh, I'm sure this will be an insightful comment. Nice convo after the Pepe laugh D. Vaush lies take ended, and we got to something where real critique could be given. It was hilarious, though, how Vaush caught Bookfucker doing the exact same thing he was criticizing Vaush for doing. I don't remember this. What was it? I personally thought the critique of Vaush not being able to indicate his confidence in the topic with his tone was really thoughtful and interesting. I'm happy you thought that because Vaush told you to. I don't really understand this other one. I'm sorry I'm being mean to you, dude, but yeah, I'm happy. That was the most useful part of this. It was hilarious how Vaush caught Bookfucker doing the exact... What did I do? The walk back. Okay, the walk back. To be fair, the walk back is not a criticism I have of Vaush. That's a criticism other people have of Vaush. But I'm not going to pull a Riley Grace Roshong and say that you should have listened to me when I talked, because that's a very high bar to set for the chat. I'm going total roast mode. This was not the intention of today. I was really meant to be in a good mood so I could take all this very constructively. Okay, yeah. If those are the same thing to you, then yes, that's very, very funny and ironic. Ha ha ha. That's so funny. Oh, all right. YouTube, these are bound to be good. With the walking back stuff, I was initially confused, but when he said that Vaush doesn't take responsibility for the... Thank you. Oh my God. If you had a penis in a video game, I would suck it for you. With the walking back stuff, I was initially confused, but when he said that Vaush doesn't take responsibility for the implications of his opening statements, I immediately understood what he was referring to. Thank you. That's what the other person didn't understand. I can make it more clear next time, so I'll work on that. I honestly, maybe I shouldn't have even used the language of the other people. I think that's the takeaway there, because it would piss Vaush off predictably, and I didn't think about that when I just let it rip. It wasn't even in my notes to say it that way. I said it off the top of my head, and I ended up paying dearly for it. So that's a criticism that I'll take with open arms. A lot of the time when Vaush argues with his chat, this is exactly what happens, where even though his language is very accurate within his framework, the implications of it within the framework of his community or with someone he's talking to lead to the statement being received inaccurately. You're also very good at writing. I'm noticing something. The people with good thought processes that pay attention tend to also be the people who are good at writing. I don't know why that is. Maybe I have a bias that leads me to like people more when they know how the fuck to write. But like, it seems to me that every time I find somebody who like writes properly, they also tend to have like more level understanding of what had happened and more helpful criticism. He's not actually walking back. Fair enough. But to someone that he didn't take this into account for, it seems very much like walking back from their perspective. Okay. Yeah. Walking back. Not a very good thing. Next. Okay. Let's see. It was crazy to me that during the discussion about... so you are calling me stupid? No, I'm calling the people that know how to write smart. It was... It was crazy to me that during the discussion about walking back points, Vaush got really defensive and did the exact rhetorical trick that Booksmarts mentioned like 3 times in a row. It honestly seemed like he was too polite to keep pushing Vaush on it and just moved on. I did just move on, but it's not out of politeness. It's like, I just don't think it helps the conversation tonally or otherwise or rapport building wise to like just keep on something that he clearly wants to debate about, because I'm just not there to debate him about it. If he doesn't want to take it, then he doesn't want to take it. Like the very first person I ever learned this with was Scuff Dario. I literally prepared a bunch of logical points specifically built for Dario to understand about why people said he was a debate bro. It would seem to me that common sense, he should just accept that he's a debate bro given the way that he talks to people in his content. But even after all that work, he didn't. So I think when people disagree with a criticism, it's not worth it to waste time trying to explain it to them. They either take it or they don't, and I just do not have the time or energy to be wasting on that. So yeah, it's like twofold. It's rapport building is important to me, and it didn't make sense in that regard to keep arguing. and it costs me a lot of energy that I just do not want to expend on something as silly as a debate about something that's meant for the greater good of the person I'm talking to. If they don't want it, then it's leading a horse to water. I'm not going to pull that bitch by the neck and try to drown it in the river. If it doesn't want to drink, it doesn't want to drink. I really just got the idea that they were both talking past each other and didn't really understand / comprehend what the other one was. What? Oh, that's why I linked this. Okay, because of that funny bit. I honestly felt like Booksmarts understood Vaush just fine. It seemed like at a certain point he just gave up. Yeah, I don't know what this is about. I just really got the idea they were talking past each other and didn't really understand and comprehend. I feel like I understood Vaush fine. I also feel like Vaush understood me. I just feel like he didn't want to connect on this one point. Like, I wouldn't even say that Vaush was like not understanding what I was telling him. I think he understood. I just don't think he wanted to engage with it. So, yeah, that's where this is a very dumb comment, I feel like. Oh, well. How would I get better at writing? Practice. Read more. Damn, 500 viewers. Yeah, it's cool. Some people went to shitty schools, book buddy. Some people have similar thought processes, but it may not. Yeah, well, that's no excuse. If you're online right now and you're wasting time listening to me, you could be reading things, taking notes, and trying to better that. I'm not letting you get out of that by saying that you weren't educated, because there are plenty of examples of good writing that you could pick apart and look to improve your own. I'm not very sympathetic in that regard. Let's see here. Booksmart's whole discussion on walking back is pretty stupid. That's a wonderful way to open it. Again, when you open up with like Booksmarts has brainworms, Booksmart's argument is pretty stupid. Like this rhetorical advice. Don't do this. It's going to make it hard for people to take your criticism. The only reason that I am is because I'm trying to be really, really good about it. But it's not a good way to open. Typically in a discussion or argument, a quote-unquote walk back is when you say something with a level of certainty or conviction, but then when called out on errors or problems with that claim, you walk back your position and make lesser / weaker claims which are more defensible to your... Vaush does this, so... Interesting, but let's move on. But and to again reiterate, the walking back is more so the verbiage other people use. My main problem is that there's a difference in impact between the first and the last. If you want to say that's me walking back, it's totally fine, because it adds more to my argument. But making a very strong point to hammer an issue up front and then clarifying the smaller and more nuanced details later is not walking back, because you still stand by and support the original comment. Okay. Yeah, so that's why we get into the impact of these things are different. Like, there is the same statement with added nuance, but the same statement with added nuance has a different impact than the first statement. Honestly, I think the main criticism I'm taking from this is not to use the verbiage of other people, to not use the walking back thing. I think that's really where I fucked up there. Let's see. Well, it's gotten late. Good night, book. Good night, dude. I've been watching to see if Vaush has been more careful since your talk, and I think he has caught himself a few more times than normal to check his clarity with the audience. That's good. I think you're living in a dream world if you're actually hoping for a moment when big debate bros who have egos and public reps to protect and maintain openly admit to their failures and their arguments live. I mean, I've had this happen a bunch of times before. Motte and Bailey, essentially. Don't say Motte and Bailey. I'm going to fucking ban the next... this is going to turn into the shenanigans thing. The next motherfucker to say Motte and Bailey is getting timed out. And I swear to God, mods, you have my fucking blessing. I'm calling the Gestapo. The next fucking person to say Motte and Bailey, this is like shenanigans. If you guys don't know this clip, let me grab it for you. All right, timeout, Timur. He's playing too close. This is like the ladies on this website and showing their pussy. Yeah, give him a 30-minute. Give him a 30-minute. Timur's out. All right, Wadanel, you're out. You're out. You are going to be in timeout. Good night. Anybody else who wants to play this game with me? Who wants to play this game with me? Tizzy, you're out. I'm not letting you play around with it. You are out. Where are you, Tizzy? Don't wide to hide, guys. Don't wide to hide. I'm Tizzy, you're out. You're timed out. Let's see. You're in a timeout. Motte and Jerry, Tommy, you know what, Tommy? Give her an hour. Give him an hour. Tommy's getting an hour. Not even 30 minutes. We're going to step it up for Tommy. This is not a first offense. This is not a first... Oh, Mutant Banley? I'll let that one slide because it's funny. But Yeah. For those of you that don't know, here's the clip. Here's the clip.
My cruiser weighs 16,000 kilograms.
I just got off the phone with Tom Mercado from the Budget Committee. This thing with Favre's screwed up, Pooch.
What? They can't lump us in with that fucking Martian.
We're all in the same boat, fellas.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You mean shenanigans? Oh. You're talking about shenanigans, right?
Put those away.
Hey, Rabbit.
Okay. That's a goofy ass movie. If anybody hasn't seen Super Troopers, I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Need to watch this again. Thank you for the reminder. I watch it all the time. I love that fucking movie. It's my kind of humor. Okay. Next, we're done with this one. On to the next. Down, on to the next one. Down, I'm done, and I'm on to the next. Ooh, I gotta get away. Anybody know that song? I love it when it grows up me. What's the name of that song? Anybody know? Anybody know what song I'm talking about? Or is, I just sound like I'm deaf? Anybody? Nah? Okay, rip. Let's see here. It's Foo Fighters. It is Foo Fighters. I just don't remember what the name of it is. Down, on to the next one. Down, I'm done, and I'm on to the next. Oh. I like how everyone's saying Foo Fighters and nobody's giving me the goddamn name. You guys aren't real Foo Fighters fans if you can't name the tracks. God damn it. All right, 31-15 to 34. Vaush should get out of the bad habit of being overly defensive to the point of sounding to warm me. This is when we were arguing, especially when he was very clearly being wormy. The other guy did a good job of describing it. Booksmarts. Oh, shit. Hold on. I need to... I don't think this is... Oh, okay. I feel bad because everybody's roasting Vaush in this. Here's the helpful part for me. This isn't his job to do, though. Booksmarts needs to do a better job explaining his point/definition. Yeah, nobody upvoted this person because they're not being funny or anything and whatever, and they're being mean to me. But, like, this is the takeaway. Like, if I didn't do a good enough job of, like, keeping that under control, like, yeah, there's shit to be thrown at me. To be fair, I do think that Vaush got in this defensive mode where he, even in an argumentative sense, was not being fair. He's trying to downplay the criticism to the point of being so vacuous it doesn't make any sense. He's like spinning like 5 arguments at the same time I'm having to try and diffuse. I thought that I was clear with my tone that I'm not there to argue with them, but I engage with it, so that's my bad. So, yeah, it's mostly down to me doing better at explaining the point, and mentioning things like walking back and stuff triggered him in a way that was predictable, and in the next conversation I will not do. And I should know better. This has happened with Steven as well. When I come in and I do things that I know will piss him off, like after the supererogatory talk with Vaush, I personally find there to be utility in having a supererogatory. And in the very beginning, I said, maybe it would be nice if they did that. And he's like, stop. Don't do that to me. Like, he hates it when I do that. He knows I could piss him off, and he's trying to hold me accountable to keep me from going in the deep end and making the conversation something it doesn't have to be, right? Like, Steven will do that. I know better. I need to do better about that. So, you know, I think this person actually is the one that has a point when he's saying that I need to do a better job of explaining my point. If I would have just explained it in my own words and I didn't use things like the walking back terminology, we may not have gotten in that giant fight, right? Or I may have been able to other myself from the walking back opinion and, you know, create my own argument independent of that. And that probably would have been the better play. Hindsight is 20/20, but yes, that is something I need to work on moving forward. Booksmarts is this passive-aggressive person who won't just say what he means. Yeah, no shit, no one is going to take your advice. All right, I'm going to toss it off to the audience. Like, I think I'm passive aggressive with Destiny. I don't think I was passive aggressive in this conversation at all. So I'm a bit confused about this because, like, I don't think I was passive aggressive with Vaush. If I was at a few points, I apologize. It's not good. But I don't feel like I was. Maybe I had a snarky remark referring to something we argued about at the beginning, but I don't think that's passive aggressive. And if it is, I'll stomach that one, but I don't think I was a passive aggressive person who won't just say what I mean. I think I said what I meant at quite a few points. Like, I think, in my opinion, I went out on a limb when I said something like, that's not what I believe, and you know that's not what I believe. When I said shit like that, I thought I was being pretty overtly aggressive to him. Like, and I think it was warranted because he was trying to, like, you know, get me to admit to things that, like, are not at all what I'm trying to point him in the direction of. But, like, if anything, I think I was more overtly aggressive with him than I was passive in this entire conversation. But I don't know what to take out of this. My advice to Chris is to, like, maybe include some shit so that I know what the hell you're talking about. Because unlike me, you don't have a YouTube channel filled with, like, all these different, like, examples and timestamps and stuff. I have no idea what you're referring to here, and I wish I did so that I knew what gave you this impression so that I could work to fix it, but you leave me nothing here. You were memeing, not passive-aggressive. I mean, if he wants to call it that, that's fine by me, but I don't think I did it enough to be characterized as a passive-aggressive person. I can't even think of the instances they might be doing. Do you already know when you'll review the debate Vaush asked you to review? No idea. I'm be honest with you, no idea. Because I have a backlog. I for sure need to do Counterpoints versus Lauren Southern. That needs to be done. I keep putting off making the appointment with that guy, and I feel really, really bad. To be fair to me, Counterpoints has a limited and restrictive schedule with when they can do stuff because they work a normal job. So part of the reason that I haven't been able to work out the thing with Connor, with Counterpoints, is our times haven't lined up. He only has, like, so much of a window, and it's like, I need, like, things happen much quicker when people are live all the time at reliable times, or when people, are just free all the time. And that's what I'm used to dealing with. So when somebody has schedule restrictions, it makes it very difficult for me. I was just being real. Do you have a streaming schedule? Not at all. I do not. From now on, Mark, marketing guy, we're calling him Mark from now on. Mark wants me to do Thursday through Sunday. And so I think I'm going to do Thursdays for sure because Steven does D&D, and I think Mark and I would both agree that streaming at the same time Destiny is doing D&D makes sense. But so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think is like what I'll probably keep doing. Saturday, if I'm tired, I'll still try and stream and maybe do gaming. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think is the tentative thing. Mark also, kind of crazy, wants me to do 7 o'clock in the morning Pacific time because that's when you catch a good overlap of like the US people and the Europe people. So I'm thinking of shooting more for the morning, but it's really, really tough on me. Today was noon and I'm tired as fuck. So like it's rough. Now, if I just improve the stream a bit, I make a little bit more money and I can have a house and I can rent a place and be at the same place all the time. It might be easier to fix my sleep schedule to do that. But when I'm moving back and forth, when I'm out drinking or traveling or doing all this shit, it makes it really hard to stick to something. But that's only an excuse. That doesn't work for me, Booksmarts. I watch both. Okay. What do you even do other than being Destiny's rhetoric counselor? What do you mean? What do I do? Like, you mean, what do I do in my free time? I do a bunch of shit, dude. I fuck bitches. I fuck books. I fucking listen to podcasts. I don't know. I do a lot of stuff. I go for walks in the sunset. I swing on the hammock that's outside. I do a lot of shit. I don't know. Video games. Wow, thank you.
I've got to run. It's my birthday, but here is a present for you, buddy. Content has been good and you've made a lot of progress. You're on the right track for everything you want. Hang in there. Cheers.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. 25 big ones. Put that up on the board. We're getting closer and closer to affording that laptop. For those of you that don't know. Oh, shit. It's not on this screen. My bad. Mark's going to beat the shit out of me, dude. Mark's going to be like, Booksmarts, you know I love you, right? And he's going to be taking off his belt. He's like, you know I love you, right, Booksmarts? You know I love you, buddy. You know I love you. I'm doing this because I love you, Booksmarts. I'm doing this because I love you. Mark is going to be pissed. Oh. I'm awful, dude. These are not funny jokes. Laptop call. Okay. Oh, shit. Talking from experience, no, I'm so lucky. My parents didn't beat me at all. I think they spanked me when I was really, really little, and I feel like I had the mind of like a 40-year-old man when I was like 8 years old, so I would go on hunger strikes and shit in response to them being rude to me. So I think I was a bit of an emotional terrorist. I didn't let them get away with that shit. Anywho, okay, let's continue with this. Thank you. I appreciate it, Vels. I'm sorry for being mean to you on your birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed mine. Okay, Booksmart seems cool, except this is how you open it. Don't say Booksmart is a dumb fuck with stupid fucking arguments. This gets me reading. I'm like, oh, yes, of course. This is a person of fine taste, high caliber. They think I'm cool. Okay. I can stomach the rest of it as long as I'm cool, right? Okay, Booksmart seems cool, except the thing he said at the end about not caring about whether his ends are conservative really threw me. Okay. His example was that he thought it would be better to kick homeless people out of his community because everyone else is doing it. No, I understand you can only have so much nuance in a YouTube comment, but let's be clear. It's not because everyone else is doing it. It's because there is no alternative that the community can have. My very, very specific thing that I said is if my city did not have a way of accommodating those homeless people, I find it preferable to pass the buck than I do to have them sit here in a community full of people that hate them, in a community that is actively working against pulling out everything that could possibly help them, any social services, any benches, any places that are protected. If the whole community is antagonistic towards these homeless people, and all of the communities around us are and we don't have anywhere to put them, yeah, I'm going to vote that way because it's not fair to those homeless people to stay in this community either. That's not an ideal situation. I thought I explained that, but that's okay. But send them where? I don't know. Neither did the other cities when they kicked them out. How would that possibly improve the situation for homeless people? I think that it's preferable to be somewhere with some kind of infrastructure for homeless people, like shelters or like needle exchanges or things like this, things that we don't have in my city. You have no idea about Huntington Beach, but in Huntington Beach, it's pretty anti-homeless people, okay? And we don't have anything to help them out. So would I rather them be here, or would I rather them be in LA where they have services, or in Humboldt County where they have services like Vaush was talking about, them receiving homeless people up there and having services for them? I would prefer for those homeless people to be in a community that is accepting of them and has some kind of services to help them. I don't think it's better that they're in Huntington Beach. And aren't conservative ends usually the problem? This is my whole point, is like you can't look at a conservative solution or a liberal solution and with only that information say which one is better. I don't operate that way at all. I look at what is the situation. Okay, so they were kicked out of this river valley. They spread into every other city, and all the other cities are kicking them out. Now, can Huntington Beach take them? Is there a place we can put them? Is there a way to deal with like the situation the way that Santa Ana did before they kicked them out, right? Like there's a whole history of the homeless situation in particular. The city of Orange and the city of Santa Ana kicked these people out where they were from, and those are the cities that had the means of helping these people. I was in favor of some, like, oh man, we have to get into a whole thing. There were things that we could have voted on to give funds to Santa Ana and to the city of Orange to help deal with the homeless problem better. I would have preferred that all the cities, thank you, Cinnamon Prince. I would have preferred that all the cities that border the area that is taking care of the homeless people put money into those communities to help those services to help the homeless people. If you already have infrastructure in place to deal with the homeless thing, then I would rather all the other cities pay into yours to help you continue to build out that infrastructure. And then we have a place to send homeless people that is better for them, which is the situation it sounds like we might have with the Humboldt County and stuff. I think that is the preferable solution. That was the solution that was on the table and rejected. So now we need to look at what is possible, given there's no will to do that from any of these cities. I don't think it's best that the homeless people are in Southern California. So it's like a whole thing. And like, I don't look at liberal versus conservative versus, I don't know what the other options are, Democrat or whatever, and like judge based on the labels. It's based on the reality of what's going on. Wow, that's a lot of gifted tiers of subs from Double Jeremy. Thank you so much. Same here in ATX. Booksmarts, I totally understand your point, but it probably would have looked better to just say you're on the left and focus on improving local politics, then stop after that. No, I'm not about that, dude. I'm not a fucking grifter piece of shit. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I think the people that do that shit are part of the fucking problem. I'm gonna be real with you. The people that will do that, that will just say some shit like, no, I'm just going to say that, of course I would prefer the leftist policy because left equals good. They're the fucking problem, dude. I don't want to name names, but all of the content creators that I see do that shit are a huge part of the problem that I am talking about. The fact that we are at a point of polarization where you're telling me, Booksmarts, you probably shouldn't say it. You should probably just say you agree with the left thing because the left thing is right, and then you wouldn't lose any points. Like, okay, who made it to where it's like that? It's all these motherfuckers that are lying. All these motherfuckers that want to oversimplify shit. No, I'm not going to be a part of the problem. I don't often take like a principled stance on something, and I am very like fast and loose with how I'm able to be in a conversation and flexibility in language. I'm not here. I have a principled take, and I'm really going to stand by it. I don't think you should just vote liberal, just vote conservative, or even fake that for the optical benefit. I really do think you should be honest that, no, I'm looking at solutions. What are the solutions? What are the options I have available to me? And I'm going to pick from the best one that we have. I think that is a much better way of thinking about things. It's the way I would encourage people in my community to look at it, and so on and so forth, okay? Like, for instance, let's say that Huntington Beach had a liberal policy that was going to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into a beach cleanup crew to make sure that the beaches are clean. And then let's say that there was a conservative that said, we don't need to spend money on that. You want to know why? Because we have volunteer organizations that turn up every single weekend. And rather than vote for this piece of legislation that will cost us all of this money that could be put to anything else, I think that what we should do is put a much smaller amount of money into marketing and putting out flyers in the community for help with the volunteer stuff. Because the volunteers are already doing like an 80 or 90% job of keeping the beach clean. I'm voting conservative. I'm not voting to spend a bunch more money to pay for something we don't know is going to work when we have volunteer organizations already willing to do that, and we can save money by advertising for the volunteer organizations. That's an example of like where I don't think you should vote liberal on that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why would you waste money? Vote conservatively. But like, you're the devil if you want to vote. Like, this is so silly to me. Like, this is part of the problem, I think, is that people vote like that. People treat it like that. And a lot of that comes down to the way that public people are conveying their thought process. And I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to be a part of that problem, dude. Booksmarts isn't jerk off ideology. He's closer to destiny in that aspect. He has his morals and his goals, and whatever achieves, that is what he supports. And it's like, it's not even about the ideal. It's about what are my options. Option A is pay a bunch of money for this thing that we don't know is going to work because we want to feel like we're actually doing something about the problem. Like, even if the conservative option was to not put any money into anything and they just said, we're going to have a group of about 200 people in this Facebook group that are going to come and talk about like how we could better get volunteers. Honestly, I'm going to vote no on the liberal thing. I'm going to go to that because if the volunteer organizations are handling 80%, I don't think it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the other 20% or really to gamble on it, you know? Man, it's much more complicated. Fuck, dude, this fucking laptop, man. I swear to God, I'm so happy that we have a goal now to like fix this. I swear to God, I'll update the goal here with whatever we make off of YouTube chat today. So if you want to donate a super and you're kind of on the fence because you don't know if it's going to count, just know that I will count it. Hold on. God damn it. Now I need to fix this. Like, this is why I need the new laptop, because this is just like unacceptable at this point. This is too much. Like, if I shake the desk, everything comes unplugged. Like, come on now, bro. This is too much. All right. There we are. Oh, God. Oh, my Lord. You're fucking shitting me, dude. Okay, well, this is why we need a new laptop, people. This is why we need a new laptop, at least in part. Oh, now it's not picking up at all. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, now it's not picking up at all. Oh, great. Maybe I should just keep the fucking laptop. I'm just keeping the laptop. Sorry. You're getting laptop camera because I couldn't be fucking bothered. We see you. I know you see me. This is not an ideal thing. I paid $100 for this webcam. I would really like to be able to use it, but unfortunately my computer is dog trash. All right. So yeah, for him to casually drop that and Vaush to give zero pushback was very strange to me. You know why Vaush didn't give any pushback is because he knew it was reasonable. And if Vaush would be like seeing this clip and he was like, I didn't think it was reasonable, I just didn't want to argue with you about it. Let's have an argument. I'll have a debate about it. I'll have a debate about that one. I don't have debates about anything. I'll have a debate about that. I'm like 99% sure that Vaush agreed with it, and that's why he didn't give any pushback, because it's a fucking... Like, it's a two-head take. Obviously, you want to vote on the thing that is the best solution. You don't want to vote based on like whether it's conservative or liberal. That's a very stupid and silly black and white way of thinking about things that I would like to think that Vaush doesn't believe that. So yeah, there's that response to that. Hopefully that clarifies. Okay. I guess my only nitpick is I don't know how Booksmarts use... Okay, I see we're getting into the dumb section of these. I guess my only nitpick is I don't like how Booksmarts used situation to describe Destiny's wealth. Referencing someone's situation has always been a discreet way of letting people know you're in a tight spot or something really difficult is happening. So yes, yeah, situation does mean that. Now, do I think that any reasonable person that was watching that believes that when I said situation... and we're talking about how he was poisoning the well by referencing Destiny's immense wealth.
You're a hardworking, hilarious, handsome, lovable guy. I hope this helps you get closer to your goals. Love you, buddy.
It did. Did you see how much of a chunk you just put in this replacement laptop thing? Holy shit. What a little oiler you are. Well, I hope there was no blood involved with making that money, but I do appreciate you giving it to me. Holy shit. That's $100 closer, dude. Wow. Thanks. I'm happy you appreciate it. I also am happy you think I'm handsome. I don't know if I make this clear to you guys, but every time I get like Buttermilk Buddha, don't tell him, but every time Buttermilk Buddha comes in here and says, my wonderful handsome boy or whatever, I fucking love it. I love it. I love it when you guys say I'm handsome and stuff. I'm egotistical, I guess, but it is a serious confidence booster when you guys now take your shirt off. No. Let's not get too crazy with this, okay? Let's not get too crazy with this. I don't want to make you guys that jealous. You know, I need to keep some modesty. People are gonna start saying that I'm one of the booby streamers. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it does make me feel good to get those kinds of comments. So I do like that. Thank you. Very, very flattering. I wish there was more I could say about the $100. It's for the content, and so I feel like I should continue the content. I'm happy you appreciate it. I'll keep it coming. I'll try to stay based and not grift, you know. Everybody that donates, you know, if you have the extra income to do it, if you're in a situation where you're sitting in your Trump-esque apartment looking over Manhattan and you're twiddling around a gold coin in your fingers that you stole from the Aztecs and you turn into a skeleton at night because of your immense amount of greed. If you're one of those people, I appreciate you throwing a little in the pot. It is helpful, you know. What may not mean a lot for you definitely means a lot for me, so I love that. And if it means a lot for you and it means a lot for me, then power to you. That's even better. I think Jesus said something like, it's about the proportions or some shit, right? Anywho, let's go ahead and continue here. So the situation thing to refer to Destiny's wealth. When we're talking about how Vaush is poisoning the well because Destiny is wealthy, I don't see how anybody misinterprets it this way. I feel so bad because, like, rhetorically, yeah, there is another way people could read into this, but I really don't understand, like, I guess I will try not to use situation next time, but I don't see how anybody misconstrues it this way unless they're being bad faith. Like, unless they really think I'm trying to, like, use some kind of verbal trickery to pull him out of it or, like, to imply something that isn't true. Like, I thought the entire subtext is that Destiny is wealthy, and that's what Vaush is highlighting. So I don't see how anybody could have this misinterpretation. I think this is like grabbing at straws. Yeah. Eye of the needle shit. Kind of, yeah. Like, for example, about his money situation. I get what you mean. I know how you're meaning situation. I just don't see how anybody would have thought that. Thank you, Sammy boy. A sock rocket. I feel like that's a euphemism for something. A sock rocket. Destiny isn't in a situation. He makes like an incredible amount of money, which I thought we were clear about. I'll be clear about next time that Destiny is a very wealthy streamer person. I think Vaush was blunt but reasonable to suggest that class affects perspective. Yes. And like, was I not clear? I thought it was reasonable too. It is reasonable, but it is also poisoning the well. And I feel like you have to admit that when you say it. The same way I would admit, and I said this like in the follow-up to the video, like, if Vaush said I was poisoning the well because I said he lies about shit and you have to be super careful and pay a lot of attention when he talks, I would own up to it. But that's because I don't have an ego on the line for my stream. So like for me, I'm okay with admitting to a bunch of shit. Like, yeah, I'm poisoning the well. And in part, I'm like indicating, hey, this well kind of tastes funny. Does anybody notice that when you get a cup out of this well, it tastes funky? Like, yeah, I mean to do that. That is it. That is totally my point, right? I just wish Vaush would just own up to the same thing. But he won't, because there are optical consequences for him. But like, that was my point there. And it comes off as mischaracterizing or being dishonest when you won't admit to that, right? And like, if, like me here, if you really think situation could be misconstrued here, I would agree that somebody with like 2 neurons I don't know, dude. This is rough. All this guy does is levy broad, generalized, half criticism. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to go through the last part of this, dude. These are all just mean. All this guy does is levy broad, generalized, half criticisms, refuses to define what they mean, and then tries to get Vaush to admit some perceived undefined wrongdoing. There! That's what I was feeling. I couldn't nail it. Just the general feeling of bad faith. Thanks for putting it into words for me. I lost this segment of the audience, unfortunately. Okay. Broad, generalized, I could have been more specific. I think that's where this is coming from, if I'm being uber good faith to you, Jeff. So I need to be more specific. Now, there are things you say, putting that aside, yes, I could have been more specific. Let me go ahead and roast you for a second. Refuses to define what they mean is not at all true. I would say that half of the conversation was me kind of struggling in like trying to define what this means. Generalized half criticisms, I don't think so at all. And if ever there was a half criticism, it's because Vaush was not able to stomach the full thing, right? Like when I have to talk about the effect rather than the problem at a strategic level of the hammer technique, right? When he's not receptive to the full criticism of what's the problem with that technique, I have to like go a bunch of steps backwards and see where I could start from the start to make that clear to him. broad. I don't know if they were really broad. Like, I was pretty specific about bringing up instances to the point where we had a whole different back and forth about bringing up Destiny examples and the effects of that. So to say that they're broad, generalized half criticisms with a refusal to define what they mean, I think misses that entire segment of the conversation from my perspective, because that's what I spent a bunch of time working on. Now, a lot of people said it was bad faith in this, and I kind of don't know where that's coming from. That's all of them. But yeah, I had a tough time figuring out where these criticisms are coming from. Oh, you guys couldn't even see those when I was doing them. Whoops. Oh well, I read them to you. Yeah. Oh, this is one from Destiny's community. Let's see how good this one is.
What the fuck? Sam,
Okay.
Sam, what is this?
Just because you disagree with Vaush, literally just that. I don't know. I don't want to be that bad faith. $5 from Jacob Collier. Look at this. I go. Take a nap, wake up, and Bookie is still here to entertain me. Best streamer. Yeah, the best streamer is the one that's live when you're asleep. That's what everybody tells me. Everybody's like, hey, Bookie, I love that you're live when I'm asleep. That's the best fucking part of your content, bros. Every time I wake up, you're like still doing that shit, and I got to sleep through half of it, and that's what I like. I appreciate the $5, bro. Thank you. Are you the Jacob Collier? Is Jacob Collier some fancy person I don't know of? Maybe they set up the convo this way, but it seems like, and this is from Destiny's community, but it seems like they didn't bring up any point of contention, and Booksmarts just accepted Vaush's point of view on everything, which is pretty hypocritical considering how much he criticized him on his own stream. I honestly thought there would be more like this. Like, when I imagine what will people say about this conversation, what am I worried about them saying? What do I feel like is the true criticism here? It's that I didn't go nearly as hard on him as I did on my own stream. And I was prepared with counter arguments to this. For example, when I'm on my stream, I'm trying to be entertaining to you guys, and my whole thing is doing this, and nobody's here to argue against me, so I just get to keep ranting and ranting for hours and hours, and people like it when I say mean things. So, my streams are going to be meaner. When I'm in the conversation with him, the goal is entirely different. It's not to entertain a bunch of people. It's not to make clear the points that I'm making through humor and other stuff. It's to work with the person in front of me to get them to understand where those criticisms are. And that's a very, very different goal that requires a very, very different approach. So I thought more would be like this, but really, this and maybe a couple of others were the only two I saw. My community in the Discord actually had more criticisms along these lines, which I think means I'm better approximating the way my community responds to stuff, but it seems to be coming at the consequence of not knowing how other communities will, such as Vaush's or Destiny's. This person responded in saying, nah, Booksmarts brought up multiple points of contention. You probably just don't like the fact that he wasn't being an asshole. Bookfucker's thing is better discourse and how your perspective influences. He's looking for Vaush's perspective and explanations on his points on contention. He brought up how he thought Vaush was lying, poisoning the well, and is overconfident in the way he brings up topics. How Vaush seems to backtrack / edit his views in real time, etc. I must have skipped that part. I really don't remember when he brought up Vaush lying and backtracking. Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, that was the whole beginning where we argued. I remember the overconfident thing, though, so I'll take your word for it. Okay, so they just forgot stuff. Okay. Well, big rip. Okay, well, that's all the criticism I had that was useful. I went through the bad stuff. Let me make sure there's not anything else in this Notion document. Let's see. Oh, Relly. Oh, we got to talk about Relly. If y'all want to clip this for Relly or mention it to him, feel free. We talk behind the scenes, and if he ever wants to shoot the shit or elaborate, I'm always down. It helps fill his content calendar, and they're fun talks for me, smiley face. All right, Relly said, the moment I said walk back is when I triggered debate mode for him. So this falls in line with other criticisms I've received. So the walk back thing, I think the play moving forward, the solution that I see is not to rely on the way that communities are wording stuff, because they do a really bad job of it. I think that sticking to the way that I word stuff and explain it is my strong suit, and it's what I should fight from more often than not, rather than relying on like what the popular opinion is or using their terminology. Am I misremembering? Even in the Reddit. Bookstar, I just want to say I thought your conversation with Vaush was productive. I'm hoping he takes your suggestion. Yeah, me too. Walk back is used to poison the well, he says. Thank you, Gray Kid. I hope you're not an alien. If you are, that's kind of cool, but you know. Walk back is used to poison the well. All right. This is where I disagree with him, but I think it's down to like, you know, not to be the philosophy guy or whatever. It comes down to how we define poison the well. I think it's just a definitional issue we have on poison the well, but... Oh, there was a bunch of gifts, Alice in Wonderland. Thank you. Longtime supporter of the channel, Allison is. The best Jacob Collier, if that's what... Oh, okay. Oh, you're like a well-known person. Jacob Collier is an English musician, producer, and former actor. His music incorporates elements from many musical genres and often features extreme use of reharmonization. In 2012, his split-screen video covers of popular songs such as Stevie Wonder's Don't You Worry About a Thing began to go viral on YouTube. He's 26-year-old, born on August 2nd, 1994 in North London, London. Wow! You won an award, a Grammy Award for Best Arrangement? What? I'm honored to have you in the chat. Thanks, dude. Cool to know. If you're that Jacob Collier, that's pretty pog, dude. Congratulations. Sounds like you've lived like a cool life, dude. Happy to have you in the channel. You're a man of good taste, clearly. If anything, it's more reaffirming of me. Jacob fucking Collier? What? I like how you know who that is. It makes sense to me that Kyo-san, who, may I add, Melina thought you had a New Zealand accent, and I thought that was hilarious. I love when you flip the fuck out, and you're like, oh, chat, I'm from Queensland, mate, or whatever the fuck you said. I can't do an Australian accent, so you'll have to forgive me, dude. I'm equally ignorant. When you did that, Melina was one of the main people in the chat thinking that you were like, that you were from New Zealand, that you had a Kiwi accent, and that was hilarious to me. Because I watched it in real time as Melina got shut down. I'm like, damn, that feels bad, man. Also, I don't know if like Queensland has something against New Zealand or what, but you were pissed that people thought you were a New Zealander. I don't know what was up with that. I don't know. I'm out of the loop on that culture, bro, but it seemed like that was quite the dig at you. This is fucked. I was so excited at the idea of Jacob Collier being a Booksmart. Oh, is it not the dude? Did he say, no, that's not me, bro. I'm fucking memeing. I missed it. Oh, well. Booksmart's Vaush regularly talks about why he is more or less aggressive depending on the setting. He was very critical of several people on his own stream and then played really nice with them when in direct conversation, such as with Tim Pool. This may be why his own community was not very critical of you for this, but it is why a lot of people outside of his community are critical of him. So good luck dodging that. Ah, okay, I see. I don't think I'll dodge it, but I think I'll need to be more like, I need to get it out of the way off the bat. You know what's funny? I'm leaking DMs. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. Tacite, my editor, right before I was going on was like, hey, remember, we have some very mean memes kind of like coming out on that new video, and maybe you should soften the blow with Vaush to make it clear to him that like, obviously that was old coverage, and obviously we're trying to meme, and we have to play into that with the edits and stuff. Very, very worried. Like, please let him know. Please, like, smooth that over. And I don't think I did a very good job of it. But I did mention to him, I'm like, you know, like, when we're doing the divorce stuff and whatever, this is like playing into it because that's a meme that the community is sharing, and like half of our jobs are leaning into that shit. But I think Vaush, like, more than other people, was transparent with me about, like, I get how it is, dude. I know how the community stuff is. I know how the memes are. I know what our job is. Like, I think he gets it, so I think he's fine with it if I had to take a guess. Now, On stream, could he get mad at it and stuff? Maybe. Would he roast me on stream? Maybe. But I think in his heart of hearts, he knows what's what. Pog, holy shit, Destiny is watching Bookie's video. Wow, that's a fucking first, isn't it? Is he live right now watching it? Or did this happen at some point in the past? And which video is it? Because I guess that's important. Relly mentions he didn't know my comments on the Wolf debate, but did recall the talk I had with Steven after. Given he had some sort of opinion most people had prior to watching the review, I'll move past it. But if he ever watches it and still disagrees, I'd be happy to talk. I caught parts of his coverage and found he missed what we highlighted, at least in part, prompting the review. Okay. So, like, I think he made some kind of criticism. He said that, like, during my coverage of the Wolf thing, he felt like I was unfair at some points, or maybe, like, digging a little deeper, or not being, like, super understanding with why Steven didn't feel like answers. And I was saying that there were explicit ones, and he felt like even if they were in there, they weren't really. But if he didn't watch the review, you know, like, if he watches the review, he still has that opinion, I'd be happy to talk with him about it and to bust back out the notes and go through it and see if he disagrees with it, because I don't get a lot of dissenting opinions that are helpful to me. So if Relly has a dissenting opinion and he wants to go through it with the notes, I would be very, very happy to do that with him. But it sounds like he didn't watch the review. When he did his coverage, he missed everything I talked about, right? Which is part of what made me want to go do it. And his missing that is part of why I mentioned that. Remember that the coverage that I do with the notes and stuff is different than what Relly does on his stream with the React. And that's not to say one is... None of this is going to come off the way the Riley thing does, because obviously I think that mine is better. Not to start drama with Relly. I think mine is better, right? Because that's why I make mine. And I'm sure that he probably thinks that his React stuff is funnier and probably better. And that's fine. We're going to have differences of opinion there. And I think that's okay to have, because we do different stuff. But I really wanted to highlight, like, what the difference between me and the React people were by pointing out the things that they missed, right? So it was seen that the React people missed a bunch of stuff in that review that made me want to go back and do a line by line, because it's like, oh, he completely missed that the dude just answered this, or oh, he's talking over Wolf, and Wolf is explaining this thing, and Relly is completely going to miss it. That happens all the time. Relly talks over the conversation and misses stuff all the time. Relly is not doing a line by line. Relly is not there to do notes. Relly is not there to look at the arguments in that way, right? I am, so that's what I do. And I watched his stuff and found that he missed that stuff, and that's part of why I covered it. So if after watching the review or looking through the notes or whatever, he still thinks that that's the case, we can talk about it. But I don't think it's super necessary. I just wanted to mention that while I was, taking notes on Relly's review of that stuff. So that's from Relly. Okay. We'll briefly go through these, which are some good ones. Destiny loved the vase example. Vase example from what? Destiny is a stripper's name. I mean, sometimes it's also the name of a horse. Shouldn't Destiny be preparing for his debate tonight? Maybe he is by watching Bookfucker. I feel like no one watches the review of themselves. They like to watch Book review their opponents. Must be frustrating. I mean, it is a bit, but it's like horse the water, dude. I can't make them drink, and if I get mad at them for it, people say that I need to let it go, and they make fun of me for it. So there's no winning there. I'm like quickly reading these. What is the vase example? I completely forget. Oh, he's watching the edited video. Now I get it. Okay, him in the vase. I gotta watch that, dude. I want to see how he reacts to that, because that is how he is, dude. Okay, now I get it. I might end stream early and just go watch that. Let me get through the criticism real quick. This is the last of it. So good things that were said about me. Let's end on a positive note. So they said that I was chill. I appreciate that. Cool. I try to keep the tone at like a lower level and try to keep the tension in the conversation low. So to hear that I was chill, that's very reassuring. Helpful for improving. Good. The whole point is to help the people improve. Like the whole reason that I go on the show and I talk to Vaush, besides the obvious benefit of being in front of a new audience of people and promoting myself and yada yada, is to help him. That's what I want to do. You know, I spend a bunch of time on this. It makes sense that the person that is the subject of it could get some improving out of it. Good faith, honest, and unbiased. Now, some people really seem to come away with the opposite opinion, where they think I'm fake and weird and interrogatory. So I take that with a grain of salt. But basically, you know, I like hearing that, but people come away with the opposite.
Some Doge money for you.
Bruh? What? Oh my god. Wow. I hope you got that shit trading some fucking stocks or something. Jesus Christ, this is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Whoa. Wow. Sold their Dogecoin. Sounds like it, dude. Whoa. Well, if you sold your Dogecoin, I guess I got to give a little bit of a bless and a thank you to Elon Musk. Okay, but also, bless up to you. Holy shit. Wow, that's a lot of fucking money, dude. Wow, we're quickly making progress on this goal. I think after including like the YouTube super chat, we may be coming up on 50%. Wow, Jesus Christ. That's amazing. Thank you. Jesus. Thank you, Damon. Good God. I never know what to say when people do shit like this. Like, I get that the content was what made you do that, and you're like happy enough to do that, and you made the decision when you made the decision, so there's not much more for me to say, but we're gonna fucking hit that laptop real quick. Holy shit. Like, this is making me really want to like stream for much longer once I get to America and really do some fucking reviews and some gaming stuff. Like I said, I have a secret dinner on Saturday, which I think is tomorrow. Am I correct on that? Yeah. So I have a secret dinner tomorrow, but I have a bunch of time. I mean, I could stay in America and play video games. Wow. Not so secret now. Well, I mean, the participants are secret, and I think that's the most important thing, because I just don't know if anybody's been public about it. But yeah. Secret with whom? Well, that would defeat the purpose, would it not? Good God. Good God. Good God, man. We need more Apex with Destiny. That's the whole point. Like, that's a large part of it. I talk with Mark, dude. Like, you guys got to realize, I like playing with Destiny. I like hanging out with Destiny. Tabor is fun, too. Not going to lie. Tabor might be more fun to play with on different occasions, you know, because Steven is a bit of a troll and not very good at the game. He's good when he tries to be, but like Destiny, it has these moments of like being a savant at the game. He like activates his fucking Sharingan and he sees the fucking bullets and he's moving past it. He knows what he's doing. And then the other 80% of the time, he's like a bumbling idiot. But you know, Tabor was on top of, like, I kind of want to play with Tabor more often. Tabor seems cool. But yeah, we would play more Apex as Steven. I'd bug him all the time to do it. It would probably be better than League, but I know there's a cult following of League people. Yeah, that's a huge point of getting the laptop, is to play Apex and stuff. You're not the famous one, so you don't count. What? Who said that? Vase example is when I fell in love with your content book. Well, sounds like this is a recent thing. We're in puppy love right now. Roberto Meldeñez, fucking whatever the fuck. Bookie Nips coming out today? No, they're not. My black shirt hides them. Roberto Melendez Ponchi Mancho. What the fuck is a Ponchi Mancho, bruh? That sounds like a euphemism for eating ass or something. I'm gonna ponchi your mancho. Thank you for the 400. I'm still kind of like reeling back off of that. All right. Let's finish up the dick jerking here. So patience, obviously, that's something I go for a lot. I really try to be patient, so it's good to hear. And nice conversation. More than anything, I want to have nice conversations. You know what is the most flattering thing to me at the end of one of these talks? Is to hear somebody say, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed talking with Bookfucker. It's always a pleasure to talk to Bookfucker. It's such a little throwaway line that my interlocutor could say, but it is more than anything the audience could say the most important thing to me. It's the most important thing when I host a panel. It's the most important thing to me when I try to moderate something, which is why I was super duper upset. And it took me a while to come back from knowing Hugh was very upset with the way that conversation was moderated with him and Ahrelevant, because that's what I want. I want people to come out of an interaction with me feeling like that was fun. You know, it's also why I feel bad when I smoke weed and hang out with my friends and they're like, you're very, very mean when you smoke. Like, all right, I'm sorry. Like, that's obviously not what I want. I like having the nice conversations, having people feel good at the end of them. And that's like 90% of everything that I'm trying to do. Whether you took my advice or not, whatever, if you thought it was a nice conversation, that's dope. That's why it's super upsetting when I had that bad one with Steven, you know, like, that's why those hit the worst, because they're not nice conversations. And, you know, this is a throwaway line, but I think one of the most important to me, and a metric or like a thing, a moving target that I'm always trying to hit. So that's all those. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have said redacted. That was another thing I fucked up a ton. Yeah, I fucked up that. Okay. I enjoy Bookfire. I like that you enjoy me. Can someone remind me what the vase example was? When Steven does something wrong, he often likes to say like, yeah, but everybody thinks I'm this and everybody does this and whatever. He like blames everybody else. He just starts finger pointing. And the joke was like, it's a lot like his mom comes into the room and she's like, Destiny, honey, did you break this vase? And he's like, I'll go fuck, mom. Everybody lies about me. Everyone's full of shit and blah, blah, blah. And then like, so you broke it? Like, this isn't responding to what I'm saying here. So you broke the vase then, right? Like, all this other shit aside. That was a joke. It's pronounced Vaush, and based means high on crack. Okay. What was wrong with saying redact? A lot of people hated it. They didn't think it was funny. The point was to kind of poke humor at the situation that we were in. So it didn't land with the people that I meant for it to land for. I honestly thought Vaush's audience would like it, but they didn't. So, you know, it's like a dad joke that didn't really work, and I won't do it again, I promise. Okay. I think I have shills to do. Oh, yeah. Postcards, guys. If you didn't know about this and you're on the Patreon, anybody of any tier can sign up for getting a free postcard. You're entered into a raffle that I'm doing at the end of every month. Just look for that post on the Patreon, put in your information, fill out the kind of stuff you would like to see on the card, and I'll send those away. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Saturday, I might do a community game stream also related to the Patreon. So if you are a giver, you have special access to a channel on the Discord, and you have special access to a voice channel in the Discord. I think on Saturday I will do a community gaming thing where we will all play together, maybe some Jaxbox, maybe Among Us, something. You'll be able to be invited into an Apex lobby to help me fill it, or Deep Rock Galactic, all sorts of games. So if you want that perk, be a giver on Patreon. That's $10 a month, and you'll have access to that. Anywho, I don't need to go through the rest of it. I'm removing early access soon. Mark, this is another Mark thing, so if you want to blame anybody, you can blame Mark. Mark says that it doesn't make a ton of sense. Not a lot of people are watching the early access stuff, and the few that are actually hurting the performance of the videos once they go live, because YouTube is already looking at the way that they've engaged with the video, and it's kind of like it's hurting the final release of the video once it goes live, like long story short. So we're removing early access probably. Now, if I have something that's like a work in progress and I have a script and I've like read a voiceover, maybe I'll release that, but it's not so much early access anymore as it is like behind the scenes looks. So early access will probably be phased out in the Patreon soon, which I don't think is that big of a deal. Not a lot of people have access to it, and not a lot of people watch the videos. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Did Book talk about the Riley thing? Yes, I did, and I'll timestamp everything as soon as possible. I straight up did not catch on the joke. I thought Vaush put you up to it. Wow. No, he didn't. Nobody puts me up to anything, guys. Just FYI. And if they do, I'm pretty like transparent about it. Anywho, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. I can't think of anything else I'm supposed to do. Oh, I'm supposed to plug stuff, aren't I? Mark is good value. I don't know who Mark is. Don't leave us alone. I have to leave you alone. I got to go. I got to hop the border. I got to go to America. So now I got to go as soon as possible, dude. It's going to take forever to cross the border. I don't know what the wait time is like right now, but it only gets worse and worse, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll head over the border. Expect some gaming content from me coming up soon. On Saturday, which is tomorrow, at 7 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, the plan is to stream. We'll see. I'm going to be real with you. We'll see about that, okay? Because, oh, man. Because I have to, like, get into my dad's house and shower, so I probably have to, like, find my key and get in through the front door and try to not wake anybody up. That's really early in the morning because I would have to be up at, like, 6, and I would have to get all that shit. Oh, man. I'm really not looking forward to these early morning streams, but I'll try one out. If any of you EU motherfuckers want to stick around for that, you can. Depending on how that goes, I will determine whether or not I keep doing that. Mark wants me to keep doing them and to like build up an audience at that time, but holy shit, if I'm in the van, it's just not possible because I only get to sleep so long in the van. The van is at an angle, it's at a slope. It's just not easy to sleep in. So yeah, anywho, I guess they are sending the best. Yeah, they are. Anywho, don't shower. Destiny says it's okay. Yuck. Does he really? Build the wall to keep Booksmarts on the stream. Gonna take that 400 and leave the country. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's the plan, dude. Don't go to America. It's dangerous. Ain't that the truth, dude? All right. Where do the Twitch people want to go for the night? What babysitter do you guys want? What babysitter do you guys want? Here, let me go to my just chatting window because I got some shit to say to the YouTube audience afterwards. So that's just like a thing. Where are we going, YouTube people? I mean, Twitch people. Limmy? Okay. Indiefox? No, I'm not supporting Indiefox. She's kind of fucking up lately. You said Dylan Burns? All right, what's Dylan doing? Please don't be fascist something or other. All right, debate night. That's easy. All right, we're gonna raid Dylan Burns. We don't do that often. He's doing hippy dippy today. I know what I'm watching. Oh, you guys can't see my screen. Never mind. Anywho, let's go to Dylan Burns. I'm so fucking glad you guys couldn't see that shit. Holy, that would have been not a funny joke. That would not have been a funny joke. That would not have landed. All right, hop in. Everybody pile in. We're going to Dylan Burns. I'll probably listen for a bit while I pack my bags, so I'll be around. You know. And I got to download those all those fucking debates to listen to while I'm on the train and stuff. So I'll do that. Anywho, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for all the support today. We'll keep up with this again tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. If you want to show up, that's cool. I do expect that it'll be EU people, though, and not so much you folks. But anywho, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Everybody say bye to the Twitch chat. Bye, Twitch chat. Bye. All right, YouTube chat. Now it's just you and me, all right? So YouTube chat, I'm going to be real with you. You guys are quickly winning my heart over. Okay? He's not even doing a panel. What the fuck is this, dude? All right, whatever. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. I can't stay with you very long or it hurts all my numbers. So just know that I love you. Subscribe on the Patreon if you want secret content. I'll try to post there more often. I also do Twitter stories. So once I get back to America and I have mobile data, secret tip, check out my Twitter stories because I do put stuff in there when I'm doing weird shit. Like I saw this meat with a bunch of bees on it. I don't know. There's a bunch of weird shit.